Hello, listening people.
Hello.
Hello. Jamamama. Hamamas. That's a callback to Krippendorf's tribe. Hamamas. That's how they say hello.
Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Hamamas Bartek. How are you?
Good hamamas.
Thank you, Hamamas. Do you want some Hamamas?
I like hummus.
No, that's what I asked.
Is it? Oh, is it different?
Hamamas is hello. Do you want some nice hello?
I mean, you've given me a hello.
Hello again.
Hi.
So, Bartek, we are spit and polish?
I think, yeah.
Likingly, because we're always spitting and we both happen to be Polish.
And we like it.
And we are doing our podcast, Unappreciated Masterpieces.
Mm-hmm.
That's the show in which we do a feature-length audio commentary for a movie that seemingly doesn't deserve it. And it's October while we record this, and the episode will be released, so that means it is...
Not the 8th month, despite the oct. It's actually the 10th month.
10th? Yeah, exactly. We are... No, that's not... We're not doing... Are we doing 10 movies?
No, I think it's because of the Caesars. They had 2 months named after them.
2 Caesars.
Julius, July, and Augustus, August.
Exactly.
And they were like, we both want 31 days.
Yes.
Oh, well, one of them said, I want 31 days. The other said, I too.
Augustus started as Octavius Caesar, so is there actually... So there's 3 months named after Caesars, then, isn't there? There would be July for Julius, October for Octavius, and then August for Augustus. So are there 3, actually?
Did you not just say that 2 of them were the same person?
Yeah, 2 of them's the same person, because Octavius... Welcome to the History Podcast. Octavius Caesar then eventually became Augustus.
Well, why
because he changed his name to... It's a whole thing.
Why would he want 2 months, then?
Because he was the first emperor, so he could be allowed to have as many as he fucking wanted.
Okay.
So, fun fact.
I heard that he wanted a month because Julius had one, so...
Yeah, and then he became a godlike figure, basically, to the Romans, so why not give him one? He was like a living god at one point. So that's enough about the Augustus, one of my second favorite Roman emperor. So, he's no Claudius, but Bartek, it's spooky month. We're doing our spooky themed movies in which we do movies that are darker in nature. Horror movies, supernatural movies, monster movies, eroticas, thrillers, all types of darker themed movies. That's what we're covering this month. We did Vampire's Kiss last episode.
We did!
That's right, but what are we doing this episode?
This movie... this episode's movie...
Yeah.
Also has 2 words, and the first word ends with an apostrophe S. Oh, you're doing a lot of possessive things.
Kiss vampires. It's just that.
Do you know any that I can... Oh, you were joking about the name, right?
Yeah.
This time we are doing... I like how I point out the apostrophe S thing, but I'm about to do the Polish title.
Might have an apostrophe in there, I don't know.
Zabójcze ciało.
Say it again.
Zabójcze ciało.
Zabójcze. It sounds like, you know, in like the early games of video games where they had like those little mascot characters like Sonic and the little Earthbound guy.
Yeah.
It sounds like one of those, but I can imagine it's a balloon with like with a moustache. That's what I imagine Zabójcze.
I think it's like the adjective form of the word dead. So.
Zabójcze.
I'll be honest. I haven't.
It's right up there for when we did Duplex.
What the hell was that? Old lady must die. Whatever it was.
That one had some great Polish.
Stara pani musi something.
So Bartek, what was it Zabójcze?
I'll be honest. I hadn't heard of this form of the word dead before. So
Zabójcze, you mean?
Yeah, I know that zabi means to kill, but so it's similar to that. It means dead body. Obviously.
Oh, is that what the title is? We're watching Dead Body.
No.
Oh.
The Polish people think they are, but we're not.
Zabójcze.
Do the Polish people think this film's like a snuff film or something?
Maybe. So are we watching Dead Body? What if we're not watching that, then what are we watching?
Well, if Zabójcze is a variant of kill, maybe it'd be like killed body.
Okay, murdered body?
No, Ryan. Didn't you remember the apostrophe S thing?
Zabójcze sounds like it's got, like, with the boich in there. Is butcher something that comes off of that?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm just trying, Bartek, because I don't speak Polish. Although I am Polish, I don't speak the language. So you're telling me we're watching Dead Body, which is obviously translated, abbreviated, nationalized, whatever, localized.
Localized is the word you want.
universalized title, Augustusized title, because Augustus also wanted that named after him too, I guess.
Oh.
Zaboycha.
Zagostus.
Yeah, no, he wants Zaboycha. He doesn't. That's his fucking 14th name.
Hey, get it right. Zaboycha.
So, Bartek. Fun fact, Augustus didn't even go by the title of emperor when he was alive. He's considered the first emperor. That wasn't a title he used when he was emperor.
Did he go by the title Jennifer?
No. Is Jennifer your friend podcasting as the guest?
No, it's not. But the title of the movie I haven't said yet.
Oh, what is it?
It's Jennifer's Body.
Oh, Jennifer's Body with Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox.
Maybe. What if it's Megan and Seyfried? I don't know.
Well, it's pronounced Megan for her.
Is it?
It's spelt Megan, but because we say it as Megan.
Okay, I thought the two films were Megan and Megan. Is it Megan for her?
I don't fucking know. Are we doing the Meg?
It's M. Fox, but not Michael J.
Yeah. Who's our guest for Jennifer's Body, the film from 2009?
Well, Ryan, not quite a 9, but more along the lines of a 6. We've got our friend Pentamark, aka Mark Russell the 6th? 5th.
I was going to say, what the fuck are you talking about with 6? It's clearly he's a 5 out of 5 man. Hi.
Exactly.
Hi, Mark. We have a continuing gag on our show, and when I say gag, I mean
You
continuity.
mean tragic events keep happening.
Where Mark
Yes.
keeps either leaving or dying, and we get a new iteration of him. So we're up to 5 now. It's been a real tragic ride for him,
it's
but
been a
also
saga.
it's been funny too.
It's
You know,
been
the
fun
ori-
for me. You try dying constantly.
I have.
Well,
him.
the
held
original
hostage.
Mark's still out there. He might get revenge.
He
one day.
might be listening and laughing his ass off.
If you're out there, Mark, please come save me.
And he won't, because I know the real Mark. He won't save you. So, guys, at home listening, you have to have a copy of the film Jennifer's Body from 2009, because we are going to be watching the film. I'm going to do a countdown. I'm going to say play, and you're going to press play as well. So get your copy of the film. I imagine you'll have a copy, a legal copy, because we are going to be starting this in 3, 2, 1, play. So, Bartek,
Yes.
Jennifer's Body is a film that's almost 10 years old.
Yeah, you're right. It's reaching there.
It's
like next
reaching.
year, as of this recording.
It's so impressive. Now, I want to ask, within those 9 years that are almost reaching 10, had you seen this before?
I had not seen it before.
Have you heard of it?
Maybe somewhere in passing, like when you told me that we're doing Jennifer's Body, something in my head clicked and said, I think that title exists. I think Ryan's not bullshitting me right now.
Have I ever?
Well, you've lied about a guest before when we were
That-
doing
that is true.
Down with Love.
There was an episode, I think, in which I can't remember. There was an episode in which I was describing a certain movie, and I can't remember what movie. And you were just going, please, 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 please. And I'm like, what's that? What are you doing? You're like, please let this be a real movie. And I do remember now there was a movie I talked about that was Samuel Jackson plays the United States of the president, and his plane crashes in the woods, and he's the only survivor, and he has to get out of there by his own wits. And you're like, please let this be a real movie. Please let this be a real movie. And it is.
That's good.
But Bartek, you had not seen this. You probably, by what you're saying, haven't heard of it, but you acknowledge that it sounds like a title that existed.
It sounds like a title that I might have heard of, yeah.
Well, that's good. I had never seen this, but I had heard and seen imagery of it a lot.
Oh, yeah?
I remember when I was finishing up high school, there's a TV channel that we have here called Channel 10, and they would have ads for this all the time. As like when October would come on, it would be like all the time. Jennifer's Body at 9:30. Jennifer's Body. It's got the woman from Transformers, and she's sexy, and she's down to fuck and kill. Do you want to watch it? Do you?
She's down to Fox.
She's down to Fox Studios so that she can fuck around and eat boys. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to watch this. Mainly because it was just on too late for me. It was like always a school night. It was never like Saturday,
I watched it
9:30. It was like, yeah, but we're adults, so it doesn't matter to us. But it was like Wednesday, 9:30. Jennifer's Body. She's down to fucking kill and eat boys. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess... That looks like a movie, and I just never checked it out. And I think one of the turn-offs was they made the movie in the advertisements. I don't know about anything else on TV. They made it seem like, Megan Fox or Megan Fox is the lead role, considering she's Jennifer. But the lead is
She's
Amanda.
the title character.
And that turned me off because she's in those Transformers movies and the Ninja Turtles movies, and she's not considered to be a good actress. And I know nothing of her acting work outside of anything Michael Bay related. This is the first thing I've seen her in that isn't something Michael Bay related. I've never seen her in any acting role outside of the Transformers.
I feel like I have, but I could not tell you what.
It would be a shame if we found out it's a movie we've done on the show.
She
It would be like Shaggy Dog.
She used to go by Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah, she used to be Paul Giamatti. I would love it if someone did a timeline in which they found out when Paul Giamatti started, Megan Fox also appeared. Are they the same person? Never seen them in the same movie.
And sometimes he comes back for NWA or 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, a lot of images flashing there on the screen. I forgot about how quick cut that scene was. Now, Mark, what about you? Jennifer's Body? Seen it before?
No, I say probably the same as you. It's just like one of those movies that they always play on TV for some reason, despite, it's never been one I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens though. Like, they have their licensing to things and they're like, oh, we can put this on during October or any kind of spooky time, and it's got a hot chick in it and we can advertise it and boys will want to watch it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to say it, guys. I found one of the main things surprising in this, because I had the expectations of this was going to be some kind of monster movie where Jennifer's some kind of monster. Obviously, a vampire was what you think on some level because of the blood sucking and eating, but I personally knew what she was once the movie started going. I'm like, oh, she's a succubus or demon transference, because I kind of know a little bit about that stuff, but I've never seen it in a movie before on this regard. But I got to say this, I was walking in thinking, okay, she's going to be the lead character, Jennifer. And then you find out, no, she's not. It's Amanda Seyfried's the main character. I'm like, oh, okay. But one of the things I found surprising was throughout the whole movie and in the advertisements and in the movie, they really yeah, Jennifer's all about looking sexy. And I gotta say, she is made to look sexy, but they don't sexualize her very much in this movie. And that's saying something, because she was in the Transformers movies in which she's not supposed to be like the sexy girl. She's supposed to be like a girl who knows mechanical stuff. They make her really sexy because Michael Bay's a pig. But this movie, they're like, yeah, she's all about her tits. She wears like high neck things. Like, she doesn't wear very many revealing outfits as much as you think she would, especially called Jennifer's Body. You think, oh, she's going to lure boys in with sex stuff, which she does, but yeah, I didn't find it over-sexualized or gratuitous in the way that you would expect from a schlock movie.
And also, the way that she eventually does lure the boys in is through, like, emotional means.
Yeah, which I was thrown for a loop by that, because I thought this movie was going to be a bit of a more exploitation in regards to sexualization. But no, not really. And with someone like her, who's, unfortunately known for just being that girl in those Transformers movies, or a model who's known for just being that sexy woman who shows off a lot of skin. And a lot of people don't like her because she's not that great of an actress in the Transformers movies, but literally, who is? Like, anyone? No.
Obviously, the cars.
The cars are.
Yeah, I'm sure Optimus does an alright job.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure Bumblebee really knocks it out of the park. But like, no human can. Those are the movies that ask, can we show John Turturro's ass? And should we? Like, and the answer is no. But I was surprised by that. So what about you guys? What did you have as expectations coming into this?
Well, definitely the fact that when I looked up the film and I read that M. Fox, Megan is the top build, I did think that, okay, so her sex appeal will probably be played up. But watching it, I did kind of get that impression that you got. It wasn't... It is described as like a dark comedy that's somewhat self-aware, and it does goofy things even when bad things are happening and has dialogue like that. A lot of the trivia and comments I read were drawing comparisons to Juno because of the writer.
That's true.
So yeah, I was glad that this was a lot more self-aware than, what it could have been. Just like a teen horror film that's played completely straight, and because it doesn't really do much new, it would just be sort of like, maybe not cringy, but just like run-of-the-mill. So it definitely did do new things, and I was at least happy with that. Because
fair.
In a world of like a million films you can watch, a lot of them will just end up being somewhat okay with nothing to say about them. This one, plenty to say, but even if you are someone who isn't too crazy about it, it does do some new things, or at least different things.
Now, before I get to you, Mark, I will ask, obviously, with that stuff, did you know that Jennifer was going to be some kind of monster?
I mean, the title, while it does imply that she would be the main character, she wasn't. She's just the title character, and that's been done before.
Yeah, it's been done a lot.
But obviously, there has to be something about her body. It can't just... The title can't simply just be, this is the selling point, like super self-aware or anything.
It's not like...
Something has to be happening to her
It's not
body.
like the producers thought it'd be a great idea to get Megan Fox to be interviewing porn stars on porn sites by any chance. That wasn't a thing that they tried to do, and the director didn't want them to do because it would offend her.
I believe it was the writer, Diablo.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the writer, yeah. It wasn't that. They didn't do that. That didn't happen.
They tried to.
They tried to. The producers of this movie
We're all men.
They were all men. Thought one of the great advertising selling points to this movie would we have interviews with Megan Fox talking to porn stars and porn industry people, and those interviews would be showed on porn sites. Because she's sexy lady, and this was about Jennifer's body, and it's a sexy movie. Which it isn't. I mean, it has sexy stuff in there. There's a sex scene, but like,
There's not really a sexy sex scene?
No. None of them are sexy sex scenes.
The one with Seyfried and her boyfriend was at least tender, I guess.
For a point.
Yeah, I know.
To a point. But, yeah, Mark, what about you? What about your expectations?
I don't know, like I said, I've sort of seen a lot of advertising for it, but I don't know, I think I expected more. It takes a long time to get to the monstering and the killing, and it feels like they want to focus more on the teen high school stuff a lot.
Which I can tell you love.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love the teen dramas,
John Tucker Must Die, man.
My favorite
exactly,
movie.
And he loves
Top
the
10.
TV show The OC, which the singer of the band is in that show, The OC, so I can... the OC, you remember it?
I never watched it, but I knew of it.
You know what it's famous for now, though.
What is
Its
it?
lasting legacy is the what you say.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that from a movie?
No, that is from an SNL digital sketch parodying a season finale episode of The OC in which they do pretty much that. Someone gets shot and it's like slow-mo's like, what you say? And they look betrayed. The SNL sketch with Andy Samberg and Bill Hader and all that I think it's like a freaking Shia LaBeouf is in that too. Just drive it up to 1 million.
Okay.
But so yeah, Chris Pratt, everyone, let's clap while he's still on screen.
That's who that is. That's a bit of a mean thing to call him, though.
What, Chris Pratt?
He's not a rat. He's not crisp.
Enjoy his one scene that he's in, and then look at that face. Now that's the face that Disney wanted to buy. It's weird to see him, because this is our second time seeing Chris Pratt on the show. We saw him in Brides Wars. Mm-hmm. Brides Wars! In which he played a different type of character. He was very stern and serious. And in this movie, he's very stern and serious as well, but hillbilly, so it's different.
Yeah.
But Mark, so you had seen advertisements, you had seen some things, you had an idea that it was a monster movie on some level. There was killing, there was murders. It was a bit slow going for you by the sounds of it to get to the point in which...
Yeah, a little bit.
Bloody murder happened?
Not necessarily slow, it's just sort of like, that wasn't so prevalent as I thought it'd be. I was expecting more like, sort of the traditional, the cliched horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The typical slasher monster movie.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is, what is it? Like there's a kill every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes or something.
But then this was more like focused on the emotion, the connection, the really the friendship between the two main characters.
Or lack of friendship.
Well, I think they made a very significant point of that, like the sort of the superficiality of all friendships.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Sexual tension between
the
them.
inevitability of death. You know,
the unscripted sexual tension between them. Yeah, but did you think, when you knew it was some kind of monster movie, before having seen it, did you have any expectations of what kind of monster?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the occult and sort of mythology and stuff, so I sort of, knew the Succubus sort of demon possession sort of thing it was going for.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like the whole thing about Megan's body and like sort of like the way the advertising would play out, like, ooh, sexy and murdery.
I thought when I saw the ads, vampire. Okay, vampire. Okay, now and you gotta think too, this is when Twilight and stuff was coming out, so everyone was kind of riding this big wave of trying to do these things, which I'm not saying this is
I've got a comment.
I'm not trying to say, I don't think this movie is genuinely trying to ride off the wave of Twilight or stuff. I think this, for me...
Amanda Seyfried's already done a film like that, yeah.
It's called Red Riding Hood, yeah. Check out our episode on it. It was pretty good. No, I found it... Yeah, I found this movie to be an interesting throwback to certain types of female-driven, dark comedy, horror-esque type movies. There's a few of them. Obviously, the one I'll point to as a big one is there's the film Heathers, in which, it's high school, American movie in the 80s. It's got Winona Ryder in it, and it's about, like, she's in a group of popular girls that are all called Heather, and she's not a Heather. They all wear their color, red, green, blue, all that kind of stuff. And she meets Christian Slater, who's like this punk anarchist guy, and then they brutally murder one of the Heathers, and then they proceed to murder more Heathers and murder more people, and it's got like this weird dark comedy streak, but also murder, and it eventually goes all the way up to terrorism because he's going to blow up the school with everyone in it, and it's like, but it's played as this dark comedy in this way. And then you get other films like that, or there's one that I've always remembered called Jawbreaker with Rose McGowan that used to play on TV all the time too. It was a movie where Rose McGowan and her friends kidnap their best friend on her birthday, like they drag her out of bed and blindfold her and stick a jawbreaker in her mouth. And put her in the back of the car, and then they open up the car and she choked on the jawbreak, and then it's them covering up the murder. Nice. And it's like these female-driven murder, black comedy, thriller-esque type things, and it made me think of those, this movie. Not so much a Twilight, but more like a Heathers and a Jawbreaker, in which you have a character, one of your lead characters is psycho, and they're mentally deranged, or they're innocent, but they're next to the mentally deranged person. And
but which one is it?
Exactly.
That's the question.
Exactly. This movie plays on that a lot more, because you open up with Amanda Seyfried or Seyfried or
and
whatever.
There's that scene where she's standing outside her window in a hoodie.
Exactly. And you got the scene. You obviously have the opening thing in which this is being told in retrospect, the story from her in a mental asylum.
So as far as we know, she's the only one that could be alive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and obviously she's been caught doing something. And she seems pretty guilty about the things. So it's like, what did she do, and why? So this is the scene in which they hold hands. It was a pretty poignant scene.
And for some reason, the subtitles are placed like
the music
sound with D's.
Oh,
so I'm reading it. I'm breathing now, D.
Yeah. D, I'm still here. D until I'm set free. D.
I think it's just my my specific video player doesn't know how to do symbols for subtitles.
Or maybe the subtitlers didn't know how to do them.
Oh, that's fair.
Remember how we used to talk D?
Now here's the thing. One of the things I will critique this movie on in a negative sense, and I think this might be one of the things that keep this movie into the realm of unappreciated masterpieces, is I praise a lot of movies, like last week we did A Vampire's Kiss, for having ambiguity, and but also having a sense of setup and payoff. This movie has a little bit too much unexplained things for me at points, like why did this fire start? I thought for some reason, and why does she have a psychic connection before the events to Jennifer in the first place? I'm sure you guys might have some theories on this, because they have a psychic connection, these two, or at least Amanda does, towards towards Jennifer because she can sense her when she's coming, and she can sense she's like an empath. She can feel her feelings and physical sensations as well as emotional and psychological. But I was like, for me, I was thinking of things like, oh, maybe Amanda's a bit more supernatural than we know. Like, I thought that she started the fire with her mind because she was so furious at this band.
Yeah, it's definitely what I thought they were going for.
Yeah, definitely when it started and barely anyone noticed it, I was wondering what the hell was going on.
But we don't get an explanation on that, and I think that's one of the downsides, but maybe there is some artistic thing here that maybe I'm not seeing, because I've only watched it the one time. Maybe there is some kind of subtext there.
I guess one thing that you can consider is, this is getting ahead of ourselves for the people that aren't familiar with this film, but the band are evil.
Yes.
And...
you could tell in just this scene that's happening right now, in which he wants to take her into his van.
Yeah, and I'm sort of leading up to that in the sense that they are evil, but nowhere in the film is it mentioned that they start the fire.
No.
But it's undeniable that they're really unfazed by it.
Definitely, yeah.
And considering that they're at the epicenter of the fire, they got out real easy.
Yeah, and the fire, didn't it start from like one of their cables?
Yeah.
Like, sparking? So... there could be theory that maybe they want to trigger the fire, and this incident makes them famous, so...
It does.
Which is what I was always, like, wondering about. Like, is there more to this band than just they're evil and they're the cause of, you know, the demonic stuff?
Exactly, and I think one of the other things that I just want to touch on, too, that I felt could have been explained, other than, obviously, their psychic connection, which I think I do have an explanation for, but I'll get into that later. But one of the things I thought was going to be a payoff, because for me... for myself, at least, and probably you, Bartek, since we watch a lot of movies and have to break them down and analyze them, you know, there comes a formula that you look for, like, you know, payoff, setup and payoff, foreshadowing, all this kind of stuff. I thought when the mum of Amanda's character told her night terror dream, that was going to come true somehow in the movie.
Yeah, that was a scene. Was it like her get hit by a car or something?
No, it was her being pinned to a tree, a twisted tree in the middle of the woods like Jesus, or she referred to it like JC.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But
and then they show us that scene of the tree
just now, and I went, okay, this is going to pay off in the movie. I don't think it does.
The most red herring.
The closest I can think of is at the end of the movie, they're in that pool, and that's all covered in like tree roots and branches and vegetation. So that's closest. But I was like, okay, maybe that is it. But maybe for me, it wasn't as clear. Again, I've only seen this the one time, but I thought there was a lot of layers.
Yeah, well, with this film, when you think tree and murder, you think of the jock.
Yeah, exactly. And you know,
and even then, it's just because he's around trees, doesn't have anything to do with them.
But yeah, I thought, you know, there was some interesting material in this movie. It really subverted my expectations, because I thought it was going to be about Jennifer. I thought there was going to be a vampire in there. I thought it was going to be sexier. I didn't expect it to be so gruesome for some reason. Like, I don't know. Because, and that's not even necessarily my expectations. It's while I was watching the movie, because like you said, Mark, it takes its time. It's not driven by the violence like most slasher monster movies are. So when it did get gruesome, it was a bit of a surprise, because I was like, oh, geez.
Well, you guys seem to draw the fact that she was a succubus from her behaviors, right? Because there is a part where they read a book and it has the word succubus.
Yeah. From her behaviors and the supernatural effects of her body and stuff, because that is one of the things in which, they drink blood or eat people, and then they're filled up and they're like better than ever.
I hadn't really heard of any of the flesh eating stuff. I only just heard that the sexual encounters they drain soul. That's all I really knew about succubi and incubi.
Yeah, I've heard the flesh blood stuff for it as well, because even in the movie they're not even sure if she's a succubus. They're just kind of like, she's got a demon in her for sure. That's definite. But yeah, I've seen some of this stuff played out in one or two other things. There's a TV show that was called, I can't remember, it was called something like Crazy Head or something, and it was made by the people who did the TV show Misfits, and one of the main characters in that becomes a succubus, and they have these kind of abilities.
Okay.
Not as much, like, that she doesn't have the demon abilities of, like, flying, hovering, or any of that.
Yeah, because succubi have wings, right?
Yeah.
In some depiction, at
Some,
least.
Yeah.
See, I'm not as familiar with it enough because I know of some of the beats of things, but I've never seen it portrayed in media as much.
Oh, I've seen them in video games and stuff.
Yeah.
Castlevania mainly.
That's fair enough, but I'm not a video game guy as much. I'm a movie man, so I
Yeah.
don't see them in movies as much, and especially in this type of way where it's within a human host and stuff like that.
I will say I was expecting sort of like more of a transformation. Like we see a bit of it
With her
when-
eyes
and when
and
she
her mouth.
eats him.
Yeah.
But then like I was expecting like her body, like her body's gonna like shed or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have happened, but yeah, this movie has a lot of great visual elements too. Like I found this scene very, very great when she thinks that Jennifer, like who's in there, and then she finds out it's Jennifer, and Jennifer's covered in the blood. I like the fact that we don't get a strictly linear story in the fact that we are being told it in retrospect, but she's not telling us all the facts straight away. Like we don't know why Jennifer's covered in blood until much later in the movie. Like I assume that she killed the band, but then the band are alive halfway through the movie. You find out they're on like all over the world now, and you're like, oh, so she didn't kill the band?
Yeah. I mean, one of the big questions is like, this scene here, she's not normal really in any way. Like she seems like otherworldly, like almost like the people in the Paranormal Activity films, like when they're possessed. But then in the next scene, she's calm and she's acting like nothing happened. It's like, is there a memory thing at play?
Yeah, but then...
And it really seems that way, but eventually you learn, like, no, she really was, not of sound mind because she was super hungry.
Yeah.
The hunger makes her a bit crazier, but she does remember things.
Yes, she's a sociopath. To begin with. So give her a demon and then it's even better. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought this was really chilling, actually. Like, the noise that came out of her was really terrifying.
There are some good noises in this film.
And I love the fact that she vomits this fucking black goop at her. And then I like the special effect of the black goop, like, spiking and moving. And you're like, ugh.
Like, that black goop was, like, the first thing that's like, okay, this isn't... I mean, obviously this isn't normal, but this is now paranormal.
Wait, you mean that's not normal?
No, Mark. If you eat too
that
much...
stuff comes out of your bum, not your mouth.
They did say in the trivia what that was in her mouth.
Yeah, it was like some sort of like brand of chocolate fudge with some editing put over it.
Yeah. So it was something like, I can't remember, but I'm just like...
I remember it was definitely something chocolate.
Yeah, which I guess was great. But yeah, that was just really chilling to see. That really shook me, and it was just, so much happening. For some reason, I thought she didn't bite her here because they have a close-up of her necklace, and I forgot it was the BFF necklace. I was like, is it a cross? Is that the reason?
Yeah, they show it close, like, in that first time you see it, but then I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, so you see this, and you like the necklace, and you see she's kind of repelled away a little. Like, you just see, like, no. And I'm like, is it because it's a cross? No. No. She remembers that they're best friends, we find out.
Yeah. Best friends. Such a believable friendship. Like, there's
BFF.
so much emotion in there.
Well, you're being snarky, I can tell, Mark, but I think that's the point of the movie, is we know as the audience that their friendship is false, and at least I did. I thought their friendship from the beginning was not a real friendship, but, like, one-sided. Like, I think Amanda thought of her as a friend.
It's like one of the opening scenes with them, like, together, is like she pushes her into the wall.
Yeah. Well, I did read online that there are a lot of people that interpret this as, like, a lot of lesbian feelings between them, and like a lot of it is them lashing out at those feelings. Like most of the people that Megan Fox kills, on some level, have a good enough relationship with Amanda Seyfried.
That is true.
Yeah.
Does the football guy though?
Yeah, that's why I said most.
Oh wait, no. The football guy is attracted to. He's been known in the movie at that point to be attracted to Jennifer. So she might kill him because if you're going by the lesbian theory on this, which is in the film they do have like a makeout scene and almost have sex, and then
but also at this point they've already held hands and stuff like that.
Yeah. But like in terms of the overall film context and all of that,
Then she doesn't kill like the police cadet that she claims to be fucking.
No, because she even says later on that she's going to use him if they try to get her,
Yeah.
which you know that she could. I found it very interesting. For people listening at home, we are watching also the version that's an hour and like 47 minutes long.
Oh, they're more than one.
Yeah, because in Australia, we apparently suck and were given an edited version that does not have like 50% of the violence and does not have the sex scene. Because Australia sucks. So I'm just putting that out there that we have one that goes an hour and 47 minutes. So this is like the longer version if you have a cut version that Australia distributed because we suck, apparently.
Do you know which one is on Netflix?
I have no clue, buddy.
Okay.
But did you see a sex scene?
Yeah.
Then you'll be fine, I reckon.
The one between the boyfriend-girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw
Can
that
we
too.
talk about J.K. Simmons and the fact that he, in this first scene, indicates that he's gone through some pretty heavy stuff himself with his giant burn on his neck and his hook hand, and we never get any more?
I was hoping because like that would be like the classic horror movie setup. He would be the one who like he knows about like killing demons.
Yeah, I thought he was like the Van Helsing figure.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's very empathetic.
Yeah. He reminds me of a character from, like, he would be a teacher from Daria. You'd be like the poet teacher from Daria, the real sensitive new agey one. You remember that? Did you ever watch Daria?
A bit of it.
Yeah. He would be a teacher in the TV show Daria for sure.
And for people not listening or don't know, he's got this very whimsical Minnesotan accent.
And curly hair and a hook hand.
And I literally did not know it was J.K. Simmons until the credits.
Yeah, I mean, I knew straight away because it's, you know, I know him very well as an actor, and he's just got a face that just says, it's me, J.K. Simmons. Honestly, the one where, you know, his most famous role outside of his character in Oz is J. Jonah Jameson, and that's the one where he looks the most different than he does when he's in everything else, because he's got that hairstyle and the moustache, and he's really over the top, and he's the best J. Jonah Jameson in the universe, to the point in which they no longer can put J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies because they just don't know how to not have J.K. Simmons do it. Isn't that the best fucking thing? Think about that. Since that Spider-Man series ended, we've had 2 iterations of Spider-Man, and in neither versions they've been able to have J. Jonah Jameson in them, because they legit say, we can't just not have J.K. Simmons do it, but he can't come back because now he's DC.
I'm not super familiar with the Spider-Man lore, but does he have that job at that place after he leaves high school?
Yeah.
So that's
Daily Bugle.
And in the 2 iterations after J.K. Simmons one, is he still in high school?
Yes, but in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, he does have a job at the Daily Bugle, but he only talks to him through email because they genuinely couldn't.
Sneaky.
They genuinely couldn't do
Sneaky.
it. But also, even when he was in high school, the Daily Bugle would have a go at him, because even in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, he's in it. And he's in high school still, and he's taking photos of Spider-Man.
He graduates very early, though.
Yeah, that's true. But come on, J. Jonah Jameson, like, look, the 2 best cast actors in terms of comic book things, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, and Kelsey Grammer as Beast. And they just, they fucked up with Kelsey Grammer as Beast. They just never used him. So, Bartek, we have a returning star actor here.
Yeah?
He was in Evan Almighty.
Was he one of the sons?
He was the lead son. He was the eldest son.
Right.
He was also...
The Asian girl is also a returning actress.
No, I didn't notice that.
How long ago was that?
That was 2007.
Oh, 2 years apart.
And then he went on to do Scott Pilgrim as well. He was one of the band members in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
But that's why I primarily knew him as well as young Neil.
The Asian girl was in Drill Bit Taylor.
Of course she was.
Yeah.
Of course she was. I feel like I've seen this. I should have looked this guy up. I've seen his face in so many
does
things.
remind me of someone.
Looks like a guy I went to high school with.
He looks like just a normal. He looks as he's the guy you'd hire as the football player. Like, of course he is. Look at him.
The guy I knew in high school was a basketball player.
Well, that's okay
And
then.
he went to America and went on a basketball team.
Oh, good. So,
And he's Polish.
oh, we should get him on the show. Famous Australian Polish basketball player for America. Did he have a Polish name?
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
Jacek Oczwieja, but everyone called him Okwija.
Zaboichi. So, Marcus, Pentamark, you seem like a fan of horror. I lived with Mark for a couple of years.
Was it a horror?
Oh yeah,
It was a horror.
The demons.
It was a horror.
Right.
We lived with a Christian girl who tried to exorcise Mark of his sins.
Exercise or exorcise?
No.
Yeah,
She took him out to play AFL one time and taught him about Jesus.
Wasn't it soccer?
Oh no, it's soccer.
Yeah.
Literally, I was at home one night washing the dishes, and Mark came back from playing soccer with this girl we lived with. He didn't believe me that she was super Christian, and he went out like all happy. He came back and he's like power walked straight into the kitchen, be like, "Ryan, help me," because all I could hear, even before they opened the door, was, "Yes, well, Mark, you really got to consider the power of Jesus in your life." And I'm just like, ha 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 ha. But Mark, what I was getting into was, you seem like a fan of horror. You do some.
Yeah, I've read a lot of.
You've done some writing as
Yeah,
well. Like
yeah.
delve into supernatural and the horror. You said you were a fan
Definitely.
of the occult. You know your religion and stuff as well. And
To a degree, I wouldn't claim I'm an expert.
oh no,
Power of Jesus, of course. Yeah.
power of Jesus.
Well, yeah.
But you like to look at it from kind of a fantasy, horror, supernatural
Yeah.
writing perspective. So I would imagine you are a fan of the genre of horror and stuff
Yeah,
like that
definitely.
in general.
Yeah.
Did this meet your fancy when you're watching it? Did it tick the boxes for you?
A lot of them.
Not
I'd
enough Power of Jesus stuff in there.
No,
though.
definitely.
Not with the mum and the crucifixes all over the place.
No, I don't know. It is the high school sort of comedy as well,
Yeah.
which sort of I've never been a huge fan of.
Oh.
I'd say, but
So you love Juno?
of course,
Seriously, you should check out Juno. It has J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons in it.
I might have to.
It does.
Oh, I watched it forever ago.
He's the principal, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
If not, it's Stephen Root, because he's always the principal in something
Yeah.
like Drillbit Taylor. But there you go.
Yeah, I was sort of disappointed, to be honest, in the way that they didn't really focus more on supernatural. Like I said, this guy, the teacher, the hook hand, I'm like, he was going to be the demon hunter character.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, there's going to be this big thing where she's like murdered dozens of people and they have to like hunt her down to a lair or something. At like Devil's Kettle or whatever. Cause like
Devil's Lake, according to the band.
But I thought like Devil's Kettle, that's like, I looked it up, it's a real place. It's such a cool like phenomenon. And like, I'm like, okay, they're going to use this somehow.
They do.
Very like sort of briefly.
Yeah. But, I think that's okay. Like, it's not called Devil's Kettle, the movie, so...
True.
It's called Jennifer's Body, and do they use that body? Yes. And
Not
just
enough.
just make correction, J.K. Simmons was the dad, Juno's dad in Juno.
Right.
The really supportive father in Juno. And honestly, Juno does not age well for me. Like, the language just does not age well. It's like, kids don't ever speak like this, ever.
Do they speak like this?
Yes.
Well, it's the same writer.
It's the same writer, so...
Right, yeah.
Diablo Cody, I think was. his
Yeah, I
name.
mean, yes, Mark. Do you not say, "Oh, that's so loser.org"? That's a line she says,
I say
Jennifer.
that every day. That's my catchphrase.
And you call people lesbigay?
You
That was
lesbigays.
fucking great,
Get out
though.
of here, you lesbigay.
Or there was a great one too where she's like, "They are totes hot on MySpace," and you know what's weird? Totes is the one thing that stood out because that's still relevant now.
Okay.
Totes, yeah.
Did people ever describe each other as salty, meaning hot?
Oh,
See,
Because salty
No.
means something else.
in
as far as I'm
gaming, it means
concerned.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
salty for me means like you're bitter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like in gaming, that's like a taunt for when someone's angry.
I think
That
that's just
or
a taunt in
variation of-
general.
or being
Yeah.
like, oh, I sense a lot of
In
sodium
this movie,
from
I
you.
didn't realize that was supposed to mean hot. I thought she was just like, "You're a real salty bitch," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
exactly.
okay."
No, but she described the band as salty.
That's
So
true.
it was
singing
like,
a bit
okay,
salty.
so why does she?
But then later, it comes as an ironic statement because she describes the boys like that when she licks them, and that's like, food, you're salty. So,
I guess it depends on your affinity with like salt as a taste.
can we talk about what I think is Bartek's favorite character? Dad who wants to cut off person's genitals and put them on his door like the rich people. I don't know, this guy stood out to me. I went, Bartek would play this guy.
Yeah, he was only in one scene. I remember I liked him at the time, but I forgot about him. He's definitely really good.
Again, this reminds me of Heathers in this
What?
movie. In the movie,
I don't remember this bit.
oh, this is in it. There's a scene. This is the
Why?
dad of the football
I
player.
swear I didn't see this bit.
Oh wow, man! Here you go.
Well, you never see him again.
You never see him again. He's in one scene, but in the film Heathers, the football player's dad that gets murdered in Heathers. There's a football player in Heathers that also gets murdered. His son is framed to look like he was gay and committed suicide, and he's at the funeral and has a similar speech, but his one's like, "I loved my dead gay son!" And it's like, it's so many flashbacks. Like, this type of movie is a real gem. Like, this is a real, like, Heathers, Jawbreaker, Jennifer's Body, they would all make a great triple feature. Watch them all together and it'll be a real fun night. I would say watch them in that order too, because this one's the darkest one in terms of people get fucking eaten.
Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
Oh,
It's pretty good,
that's
huh?
actually
Very
a real
nice.
surprise. Also, I noticed that in that scene just then, you saw that she had a tattoo on the back of her
Yeah, I
neck,
noticed that.
which I didn't notice in the first time round, so that's interesting. Well, Roger Ebert, you're redeeming yourself for this episode. Why did he
Sometimes, yeah.
give it a 3 out of 4? Did he give it an extra thumbs up because he saw some titties? Whoa, I don't know. This movie seems like the opposite of things he would like.
Yeah, I know.
He'd be
right?
like, Schindler's List is a great film. It's right up there with Jennifer's Body.
I don't know, maybe he likes Diablo Cody or something. I don't know.
MoveOn.org.
Yeah, moveon.org. Sorry, moveon.org. That's so many. Like, this is absurd, but I loved it. See, these are the things in the movie that I love the most, when they did talk in this such an absurd manner. I think that's why Juno is more appreciated, because Juno leans heavy on this fake talk that teenagers have, and I think for me it doesn't age as well, Juno, because maybe it does lean on it too heavy, but the humor is more overt in Juno than in this movie, I feel, but this movie is a bit more weird to say. The movie about a girl turning into a succubus and eating boys is far more serious than the girl grappling with the idea of keeping a baby or not. I don't know, for some reason. Oh, can we talk about the best character in the movie? His sister.
Oh, yeah.
What do we think of her? She's only in like 2 or 3 scenes, but she's
Yeah.
great.
She nails all her scenes.
I loved their mum as well. Their mum. The daughter later on is like sitting with her legs open, and the mum's like,
Yeah, she's mansplaining.
"Close your legs, young lady. No one wants to see your kiki." And I'm just like,
Wow.
That's how adults talked last decade, right?
but I would know what I love about that is it indicates that she was a real big fan of Miyazaki, the mum, because this is Kiki the cat. Isn't that great, Bartek?
Wait, the cat's name was Kiki?
No. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the
wrong.
Witch was
I haven't seen the film, but I'm
Kiki's
like...
the witch. Fuck. Why did she say Kiki then? Now this raises more questions.
Does the cat not talk English? Well,
The cat does have a name. I'm forgetting. He's Gigi.
Right. Oh, well, that's probably why you got it mixed up.
I love that shot. It's just like she's just like the mum's comatose. She's looking out the window. It just cuts to like what looks like an oil painting of that mum. Cuts
She
back.
misses her husband who's out looking for nuts.
Oh, God.
That's a lot of nuts. Whenever I think of nuts, I was thinking Kung Pao.
That's a lot of nuts!
He just left with nuts. Oh god, that's such a great movie.
What's
too.
his middle line? Like, that'll be $18, baby, or something?
Yeah, that'll be $18. Jackpot, baby, or something stupid. Sorry, Mark. We're talking about Kung Pao, but you're a big horror fan. This ticked most of the boxes for you, even though it has the high school American setting. That is one of the things that like downgrades.
The setting
for you.
isn't probably the thing. It's more just like, I don't know. You know, you get that sense like the high school sort of drama comedy
Yeah,
sort of thing, which I've never been a huge fan of.
but this says, what happens if the mean girl eats the boys?
But that's not a surprise, you know.
Yeah, that is
Like
true.
if it was the other girl, I'd be like, yes, this is dramatic. You know?
And this movie was too modern to use the song Man-Eater.
Yeah, that's true.
And not emo enough.
Not emo
Well,
enough.
the song wasn't emo
Oh,
enough.
right. I was like,
I know,
this
I-
movie's not emo enough for us. So
I
those
caught
fucking
myself
literal
on
emos.
Not
With
enough emos.
look, I think I'm just gonna say it. This film has the best monologue ever delivered in all of cinema, and that's saying a lot because we've already had Frankie Muniz's
Is that at
meatball
the
speech.
funeral scene?
I have the monopoly on pain. The line that's literally uttered, and it is the best thing ever. Oh yeah, I think I knew him pretty well. like, no, him being eaten alive by another human, yeah, that's definitely not what he wanted. I think I knew him pretty well. Just... this movie is one-scene characters galore, and they are great.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, there's only like 3 or 4 one-scene character galore people, but they are fucking memorable.
They're mostly, family members of like, students.
It's weird, too, because you got the Asian girl. She's only in 2 scenes, but she feels way more prominent.
Yeah, well, she stands out in this scene, definitely.
I found it interesting for me, though. Why is she such a bitch to her from the beginning? Like, in this world, Amanda Seyfried's considered a nerd. And then so's the Asian girl, who's also considered a nerd. So they're on equal levels. So
Yeah,
it's like,
but here's the thing.
But she treats her like she's like some prep bully. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, like nerds hate other nerds more than anybody else.
That's true.
That's the thing.
That's true. I mean, Mark's a nerd.
I think
You're nerds.
And we're nerdy about this movie, and we hate you.
I think I read
Exactly.
someone online was
You
saying...
killed me several times.
That's true.
Well, one of them you were talking on your phone on a plane. And
yeah.
Ryan was telling you to put it down.
I hold Ryan accountable for that.
And the last time you were apparently on here, you ran into my knife, so I didn't kill you.
pointed
You
it
killed
towards
you.
me.
Well, no, not
You shouldn't have
necessarily.
brought a knife in here.
It's really weird because you ran
Look,
you ran around me and went behind me to run into the knife.
But, like, here's
so
the
that's
thing.
kind of
you know
awkward.
how I feel about knives. You know, if I see a knife, I need to run into it. So it's really your fault for bringing a knife in
That's
here.
true.
Like, you wouldn't drink in front of an alcoholic. Yeah?
That's true. I wouldn't drink water.
So it's
You're
your
right.
fault.
And and I'm sure you were responsible for the suicide in Gulliver's Travels.
That's
Exactly.
true. I actually
You
told
drove
him.
me
I
to
actually
it.
no. That was the religious housemate again. That was Cassie. When we
Yeah.
watched Gulliver's Travel,
Oh,
that
no.
Cassie, our Christian housemate, was there, being like talking through the whole thing, and Mark's like, "Jesus, just let us watch the movie," which was ironic because he said Jesus, a guy he didn't believe in.
And she was like, "Where? Where is he?"
Where? I've got to pray right now. So the movie, Jennifer's Body is quite a, dark comedy. I think it is comedic. It is a comedy, a black horror
Yeah, horror black comedy.
comedy. And I think this one's really unfairly swept under the rug because, this one oozes October. Like, this is such a Halloween movie, even though this movie doesn't really... It takes place in spring, doesn't it?
I think so.
They have the spring dance.
Yeah, that's right.
So I find that even funnier that this movie that's set in a time that's the opposite.
It's spring and October for us, not America.
Exactly. So I guess it's set in Australia, I guess. Devil's Kettle, right? Australia?
Yeah.
Well, you can
I
tell
know that.
from J.K. Simmons' accent.
His Minnesotan Canadian
No, his
accent.
Cuba Petey accent.
Why did you choose Cooper Petey? What a weird location to choose.
That's the first thing I could think of.
It was the first thing you could think of.
I was
Australia.
trying to think of a place that we wouldn't be at.
I've been to
But we're
Cooper
not
Petey.
anywhere we're not.
I have, but I only once, and it was 10 years ago. in
Here's the
fact.
thing, too. Just to talk about Australian
It's the Opal
accents.
Town.
Here's the thing about Australian accents. Unlike America, where each state has its own accent, and even within that state
Or
has
region at least, yeah.
regional accents. Here in Australia, I think there's like 3 accents, and none of them have names.
There's like the super bogan one, then there's the one that we speak,
And then there's
like a more
Queensland.
Aboriginal one. Oh, that's more of a dialect. I don't know.
and that's it. And the rich people.
Well, that's English, right?
Yeah.
Posh.
Hello, my name's Malcolm Turnbull.
Well,
I'm Australia's richest man.
well, some of our prime
And I like to
ministers-
drink the blood of the innocent.
And strangle cats.
And strangle cats and leave them on my ex-girlfriend's doorstep. That's a literal thing that our ex-prime minister did. You know that, right?
Malcolm Turnbull. did
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Allegedly.
Well, he could afford it. so-
Allegedly, when he was a younger man, a girl dumped him, and then next day she found her cat dead, strangulated. Like someone strangled it to death. And he was the only,
Strangulated, yeah.
and he was the only one who knew how to get to the cat. So that's one of the things. Like, Malcolm Turnbull might have killed this girl's cat. Our former Prime Minister, Australia's richest man, might have murdered a cat.
What a hero.
It reminds me of American Psycho all over again.
We didn't vote him in, but we voted to keep him.
We did. Australia's had like 18 million prime ministers in like the last 6 months, so I can't even... While we do this episode, I don't know who our prime minister is now. Is it John Howard again?
To be honest, until we started talking about Malcolm Turnbull, I forgot that he wasn't prime minister.
So this is the scene in which, they talk sexuality, This is indicated that this is their first time having sex. But I got a bit confused by that, because earlier in the movie, he's like, yeah, I've grabbed some more condoms.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I guess they've
Maybe
had
he was
sex.
just practicing.
Yeah, because it is shown that he doesn't know how to do it.
They're
Put it
doing
on.
training exercises. This is the real thing.
The bananas, putting them on bananas. That's the trick.
Yeah, you got to protect your bananas.
And I guess
you
the
can't
other
have
way would
bananas
be
in the
using
house.
the bananas?
Unprotected.
No, you just gotta learn how
So-
to put it
so
on by
on-
doing it on bananas.
So only he was training.
Only he was training, man. And then you ate the bananas and you're like, tastes weird.
So I exist in the middle?
You said you were there 10 years ago.
Yeah, you
Cuba
were there
Petey.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
Cuba
oh, yeah, that's
Petey.
right. Yeah, this is setting Cuba Petey.
you fucking wrecked Bartek then with continuity.
Where's-
You're like, oh shit, Bartek's... Yeah, what's really weird? Bartek's the one that died in this episode, and
Yeah.
now we're joined by Bartek... Bartek Volume 2. Hi, Bartek Volume 2. How
Hello.
are you?
I just got back from Cuba Petey, the open
Don't mind
town.
them drawing the chalk line next to your previous body. That was so good, Mark. Proud of you. I really felt sorry for this guy.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
harmless.
Colin,
like,
yeah.
well, even the jock, like, it wasn't
Yeah.
like the usual, like, the jerky jock. It's like, he's a good guy.
Yeah, in Heathers, for instance, the jocks try to rape the girl, so that's part of it. But in this movie...
He gets comforted by a geeky-looking guy, in fact. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that shows
And he's
you right
crying
there.
class.
Yeah, I found this really sad, this guy's death. I thought...
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't going to escape because of the situation, but I thought, oh, come on, please. I like how he figured it out, too. He figured it out. Then he actually stabbed himself on the thing, and then it was too late.
Yeah.
He saw her and was like, oh, because he's into the occult.
Mm.
He was like, oh, shit.
And also, the place didn't look like it was really that inhabited.
Yeah, but he walked all the way up there, so, this isn't your house, is it? It's our house. In the middle of our street. Our house. Sorry.
Yeah.
You gotta sing it more emo.
Yeah. This setting is great, I think, actually. I quite like this set.
I
It's like
thought
the
so,
rows
too.
of empty houses.
It reminds me of, like... a little while ago on our show, The Mystery Box, we did The Adventures of Robo-Rex, a movie in which there seemed to be a lot of desolated areas in the city. It reminds me of that. It reminds me of Robo-Rex for some reason. I'm imagining Destructo Cat is up there being like, meow.
Yeah, Roborex had suburban, urban, and, like, almost deserty looking areas.
It was a fun ride. But I really thought... I felt sad for him, and I found, like, it was interesting when he does die, this character, they zoom in on his hand and, like, his pendant that he's holding in his hand or something, and I was like, ooh, is this gonna factor in? Like, I couldn't remember if it was I didn't get enough look, I couldn't tell if it was a cross or a pentagram or something. I was like, ooh, is this gonna factor in? Like, ooh, and then, no.
Is this the character whose dead body gets described as, like, meat with teeth? Or
Lasagna
something?
with teeth.
Lasagna with teeth, yeah.
Not just
I was
meat.
eating lasagna as I watched this too, and I'm like,
And
yeah,
you-
I
and
can
you're
see
like-
it. I can see it. Yeah.
And you're like to the mum, good observation.
yeah.
Like,
The teeth. That was a really accurate.
Just
description.
to put into perspective, Mark's a vegetarian, so he was eating vegetarian lasagna, so his perspective
Actually-
is even more accurate.
I had steak the other night.
What happened to the real Mark? Why are
is
you
Pentamark.
fucking...
Wellington, this is Pentamark.
Why are you eating fucking...
Penta, demonic.
Why are you eating fucking steak?
Penta means
homegrown,
5.
homegrown steak.
Oh, good. That made it different then.
Yeah.
And then we find
Oh.
out it was just tofu steak. He's been pulling us along this whole
So you
time.
planted it in the ground and it grew and...
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Like
he
steak
watered
does.
it with milk, because that's what cows like.
Obviously.
They like it so much they have it.
I thought plants craved, what was it, Gatorade?
Yeah. They crave
Electrolytes is what
electrolytes.
they
crave.
Electrolytes. They
Right,
crave
right.
electrolytes. It's what your body craves.
It's what plants crave.
But they also say what your body, because they only drink that as water too.
Plants.
Body and plants. Yeah, this was an intimidating scene. He also looks like John Cusack as well. The actor John Cusack a lot in this scene, and it was funny because when he was driving up, he was listening to I'm forgetting the name of the song. It's by Johnny Nash. He was listening to an emo version of
I Can See Clearly.
I Can See Clearly Now,
yeah.
which is funny because there's a movie called Grosse Point Blank with John Cusack where that song's very prominent throughout the movie, and it just made me go, is this guy just wanting to be John Cusack? Because I'm okay with that, man. Like, I mean, we still got John Cusack, but that's fine,
Well,
man.
no, the blind mice from the Shrek films sang that song.
Oh, I'm soz.
So he clearly wanted to be the blind mice from Shrek.
He wanted to be Shrek.
The blind mice from Shrek.
No, he wanted to be Shrek.
Why wouldn't he?
Because he's an onion. He's got layers.
But Shrek
Yeah,
sings
they all
What I
have
Like
layers.
About You.
What I like about you. Yeah. Which Shrek? Is it the first Shrek or the second Shrek?
Second.
Wow.
The special
okay.
feature of that was like Far, Far Away Idol.
I know, with Simon Cowell in it as
yeah.
himself. The biggest fucking meme of all time is just Shrek.
Yeah.
Do you think Shrek's the most memed thing now?
What about Trump?
I don't feel like it is.
I think Trump's up there.
Like,
You mean what's trending now? Or
No,
of
no,
all
I mean
time?
of all time.
Oh,
Like, do you
yeah,
think
Shrek,
of one
I'd say.
source material of one being Shrek is the most memed thing? I would say so.
I feel like there'd be other things.
I don't know. I can't think of something that's out memed Shrek in terms of just one source material.
Shia
Shrek's-
LaBeouf?
There might be something
Shia
more
LaBeouf, I would love, but no, I don't think so. But like Shrek's got everything happening
True,
now.
true. Isn't there another movie coming out at some point?
Oh please, no.
I've heard there's going to be a fifth one.
Please, I always
You
think
heard
of-
it here first.
I always think of Cameron Diaz in that interview, in which it shows.
Oh, the gingerbread man.
No, it shows. No, I don't think it's Gingerbread Man and the dragon. It shows her in a bubble while they're playing footage from the movie, and she's like, I was just so blown away by the realistic special effects.
It's like giant gingerbread man destroying the town.
And she's genuine. That's the best part. She's not bullshitting.
Well, she was probably thinking of something else, but they just played that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Shrek's human body.
Yeah, oh man.
You know,
Shrek's
I didn't
human
even
body
realize
will-
it was animation to begin with.
Well,
I
of
thought it was
course.
like live action.
I think
you know?
in that movie, in the Shrek movies, grass was actually hair animations because it's
Okay.
moved better, so it's just green hair as the grass because
makes
it's
sense.
animated better.
I think they do that with some things. Just
Yeah,
make it hair
back then
animation.
they did, especially because it was like early 2000s.
I think maybe video games also do it with grass.
Well, there you go. Now, this is a poignant scene in which our main character is having sex while the other character is eating a boy, which is like sex to them at
Sorry, I
this
thought
point.
when you said other character, I was thinking the boyfriend's like... what,
He's
so
eating.
He's not having sex, he's eating?
He's eating. Yeah, Amanda thinks she's got blood coming on her. This is like really surreal. She thinks the jock guy's watching her, and he's just like, "I'm happy, man."
Well, no, she expected him to be there. That's what she fantasizes about.
Yeah, the weird thing was that she was there.
No,
Yeah.
I think she fantasizes about that too.
Oh, okay.
And then I love during all of this intensity, you know, you have her having like a mental breakdown. You have her, the other one, eating the boy. What I love about the scene is Chip is just like, "Am I too big? Is that the problem? Is that the problem right now?" And
Yeah.
like, fucking A-grade dialogue there. Look, good on you, Diablo, the game. But also the writer. she
And your friend Cody.
Diablo should write the video games version of the movie. Like the video game when it gets turned into a movie eventually.
The Juno game.
Yeah, they should write the Diablo game, yeah. Or Diablo, whatever it is. But like they should do it. And it will still have that quirky dialogue. With Rainn Wilson delivering it.
You fight Baal and Baal says lesbigay.
Yeah. And when you're fighting Baal, you say, "All right, settle your skillet." Like,
Of course.
And Diablo turns up and he's like, "Am I too big?"
yeah, am I too big.org? See, they closed up on that, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be poignant." He's got his cross there on his rosary beads, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I guess what it's showing you is even Jesus can't save you against the succubus.
Well, his mum comes across like a non-religious person. Because
Yeah,
she's
but
like,
it's a part of the emo aesthetic back then was to have like religious imagery, but for irony's sake, or because they're all
or
he's
if they're more into like vampires.
Yeah, or the
that.
supernatural, like I was saying before, like Mark, that's kind of the stuff you're into with the religious stuff. Like you know about the mythology of like some demon stuff and all that kind of stuff, and angels and blah blah blah.
There should be.
That's
like,
what he's like too. This guy, he's Mark. What I'm saying is that was Mark.
There should be dark.
I remember that. The brutal murder being.
And that's the weird part because that's actually the original Mark. So the Mark we had in the first ever episode was actually Mark 2, but we didn't know. So Mark is actually now Mark 6. If we think about it real hard.
Well, he wouldn't be Mark 6. He'd be Marky Balboa.
So we're joined by Marky Balboa actually all along. Wow, we have a real hard continuity.
Yes, I kind
of... It's a Shyamalanian twist.
It kind of went over my head. What's the deal? Like,
so what I'm saying is the emo kid in this movie that got eaten by Jennifer, which is in our world in Kubapedi, was actually Mark.
Yeah.
The original?
The original Mark. So the Mark that we had in Just Visiting was not actually the original Mark, but Mark 2.
Mark 2?
Yeah, because this all happened 10 years ago.
So the one that we thought was Mark 2 was actually Mark cubed?
Exactly, and now everything's been pushed forward.
Whoa.
So Marky Balboa is actually who we're joined by, and not Pentamark. It's all been a real roller coaster
when you get up to the 6th one, you can drop the numbers.
Yeah, Marky Balboa, and then you call him Creed. And then you call him Creed 2.
No, you call him Mark Creed.
No, just... Yeah, Mark Creed. And then you call him Mark Creed 2 versus Ivan Drogo's son.
Then you call... No, the 8th one will be Mark and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
No, was it on The Simpsons? There's an episode of The Simpsons where Bart knows Roman numerals because of the Rocky movies, and it was a joke back then that he went through the 6th door, and he was like... Yes, Rocky 6, Rocky's Revenge, or something like, some bullshit like that. And it was a joke back then that it would reach that amount, and then it did.
Yeah, right.
It's like a joke back then where it's like Star Trek 12, so very, very tired, and then now there's like 13 Star Trek movies in total.
I remember like back in 2007, 2008, the guy that plays the Angry Video Game Nerd made a video about bullshit. Sequel naming, like where they drop numbers and it gets really confusing.
Oh wow! I wish that hasn't continued.
And
The Predator.
He made a joke about how if they make a new Rambo movie, they're going to call it John Rambo. And then when the film was announced, they actually wanted to call it John Rambo.
What did they end with in the end?
They just went with Rambo.
Oh, just Rambo?
Just Rambo.
Not Rambo New Blood?
No.
Not Rambo wants some more?
That was one of the big things, though, because that one starts with... The franchise starts with First Blood and ends on Rambo 3. Because Rambo First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3. And then they made the 4th one, Rambo.
Which is really annoying, because if Rambo First Blood and Rambo First Blood Part 2...
No, it's just called First Blood.
First Blood, and then... No, but I'm just saying...
Yeah.
First Blood, and then First Blood Part 2, that is technically one movie. Because
it makes it sound like it, yeah.
They're Part 1 and 2.
Even though they're very different.
They're Part 1 and 2. So then Rambo 3 would be Rambo 2 if you really want to get down to it.
Oh, and then Rambo would be the
third
one.
So while the lesbian scene's happening, let's talk more about Sylvester Stallone's Rambo series. A series I've never watched a singular movie of.
I love First Blood. First Blood 2 was okay. I haven't watched 3.
Which is the one? Is there one where he does like a terrible accent? Like, I can't remember. There's a scene in which he does. There's like an iconic scene taken out of context. Where he's like he's incredibly racist or does like terrible Vietnamese.
I know that Rambo First Blood Part 2, the second film, is set in Vietnam.
Yeah,
and that's the one that most people think of. First Blood is actually him just running away from cops.
Oh no!
And it's really good. Psychological.
Hey, it's like how Rocky starts with a guy down on his luck, and then eventually it's a guy versing a super weapon, like that kind of thing.
And then it's
a guy down on his luck, a guy down on his luck, and nobody knows him.
And then a guy fighting a popular guy, and then a guy coaching a black guy.
No, then a guy coaching a son of a guy he used to fight, and then became friends with, but then got murdered by a super weapon.
Because
and now he's coaching
hits,
him.
He destroys. I love that line.
Joking or not?
That's Rocky 4.
Rocky
he goes to Russia and fights like a
He
Then
fights
by-
Dolph Lundgren, who's Ivan Drago, who has the famous
Drago.
line. Drago. So, and his famous line is,
I will break you now.
"I will break you."
Right.
Yeah, and he's
Alan
like
Brecker.
biologically engineered to be,
From
like,
the
super
Soviet
strong.
Union
of
to be,
course.
so he's a super weapon.
And I think after Rocky wins, he makes some speech about like peace with Russia and America.
It's also indicated to me that Ivan comes across as a robot as well. Like, he's not just genetically enhanced. It comes across like he's a robot, because he's like, I think once maybe you see his vision, like, locking, like, the effect of it locking in on where to hit, like Terminator.
I've only seen all the Rocky films once, so I can't remember.
I can't remember.
too
Maybe
specifically.
mixing it up when they had like on a computer, they had like a electronic version of his body, and it looks like he's a robot.
Is this a prequel to Terminator?
No. It's a sequel to Johnny Mnemonic, in which Dolph Lundgren plays a genetically enhanced superhuman who's into Jesus, which
Maybe
you are too now, I guess.
Maybe it's all the same shared universe, cinematic universe.
It's all in the
Keep it going.
Matrix.
Yeah.
It's all in an autistic kid's head who's looking at a snow globe. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's like some TV show, but he imagines
The whole thing. But then that problem is that show had spin-off shows that had spin-off
Oh.
shows
Yeah,
that had
yeah.
spin-off shows and actors and all this stuff. So it's like, is everything in this kid's head?
Yeah.
That's awkward. That's very awkward. So does this kid think a lot? But so murders happened a lot since we've been talking. Emo kid got eaten, which was yum yum.
Delicious. That's what turned me back onto eating meat.
But
actually.
Oh, we're watching First Blood?
No, we're watching flashback scene of what actually happened to Jennifer, which was
Yeah.
they were going to sacrifice her. And of course, the thing is, they thought she was a virgin, which when I look at Megan Fox, I always think virgin.
That's my first
Not
thought, yes.
Amanda Seyfried's nerdy character, but the hot babe who looks like she's been down for quite some time.
And has
She's-
admitted that she's not even a backdoor virgin.
But not to them.
But
Yeah, not
she
to them,
came up
obviously.
to them flirting.
Flirting, and then they got confused because Amanda Seyfried's like, she is a virgin. I don't know why she said that. It'd just be a jerk, I guess. I'm not even a
Just
backdoor virgin. That brought up the imagery of Chris Pratt fucked her so hard up the arse she needed to sit on frozen peas the next day.
Oh god.
Get that image in your head, guys. Star-Lord, more like Bot-Lord.
Oh, I thought you were imagining sitting on the peas.
Yeah, no, all of it. All of it.
just
Transformers, more like peas, please.
Well, you know, Ryan, you do have to kind of...
She was in Transformers, Mark.
Yes. You got to put the peas in hot water, so heat when you're sitting on them.
Well,
so
yeah, exactly.
You're preparing to eat them.
She's warming them up with her butt.
Yeah, delicious.
That's what he was saying. That's what
That's the
that's what you
joke.
get up in Cuba Petey.
Yep. Well, you're here too, so...
Well, I'm just visiting. Our first episode. Get it? With Mark, just visiting. Nailed that.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, or
Remember
the
when
Mum's Night Terrors about her on a tree that never comes to fruition. Wait, maybe she's dreaming about Jennifer in this scene where she's tied up to this piece of nature? It's a bunch of rocks and
I think it's a
shrubs.
rock, yeah.
It's a whole bunch of
It's a
things.
shrubbery.
It's got like branches. See branches coming out. I don't
Yeah.
know what the hell this thing
So
is.
you're saying Needy's mum was that, and that's her nickname, by the way, Needy.
I thought that was her
Needy.
actual name.
Her actual name is Anita.
Anita.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
I thought it was.
But Needy is such like a cruel nickname.
Needy Edie. That's what
Well,
they call her.
I
as
think
well.
one of the trivia points said that Diablo Cody wanted her character to be Needy and gave her that nickname, but then they dropped that but kept the name.
Because too many high school movies have that trope, and she was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
And-
but they kept it anyway. Like, also,
And it's the same thing with Jennifer's last name, Check. Apparently
they didn't have a last name.
they just kept that because they were like, all right, this character exists, check, and it was like
Right.
made
No,
the last name or
which is
something.
funny because the mum in this movie is played by Amy Sedaris. The mum is played by Amy Sedaris, who was in Old Dogs as the
Yeah.
camp leader.
I think she was also in Bewitched.
Bewitched. Amy Sedaris is in one of the greatest shows ever called Strangers with Candy, and her character's name is Jerry Blank for the same reason. They wanted to call her Jerry, didn't know what her last name was, so they left it blank. And then they called her Jerry Blank. And then the principal of the school is Principal Black Man, because they wanted a principal who was a black man. And then they thought it was really funny to call him Principal Black Man, but he's like, it's Blackman. And they're like, okay, Principal Black Man, and his first name is Onyx.
Not Pewter.
His first name is Onyx Blackman. His name is Onyx Blackman. There's an episode where you see he's talking, you see his close up on his face, he's got this deep voice, and he's just like talking about this really traumatic story, and he's just like, and then it pans out, and he's just talking to a bunch of kids. He's like, and that's why my parents kicked me out of home. Now I live on the streets. And you're just like, he's the principal.
So what you were saying earlier, Brian, about the dream, you said that you think it might be related to this?
The dream, yeah, when the mum's like, I have imagined you had a night terror about you being tied up to a tree. And that she has that night terror the same night that Jennifer is tied up to that.
And you think because of the psychic connection they have.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that psychic connection. At first, I didn't think there was any reason that they explained to why they are linked. Do you have any theories?
To be honest, I kind of forgot about it as the movie went on because so many things were happening.
But they keep bringing it up throughout the movie.
Yeah, but I forgot that it existed before the whole bar event.
Fair enough. But Mark, do you think there's any explanation within the movie that you could find that they have a psychic connection together other than girls be close?
I don't know, but there's that. They're sort of their childhood grew up together. I don't know, like, anything occult-wise that I noticed.
Are you going to say something about the sandbox scene?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I think it's that when she was a small child, she sucked her blood out of her hand.
Right. Oh,
and that's made her
course.
connected to Jennifer because she senses her and feels her feelings. And I don't know why, but that's the closest thing I could come to an explanation.
No, that makes sense, actually, yeah.
But that's before any supernatural things happen in this
Yeah,
town.
and she wasn't exactly drinking the blood.
She sucked on it, though.
Yeah.
But, like, that's enough in
like the
things.
residue if it touches your tongue, I guess.
Like, in this world, they're like... Again, I'm going to ask you this, Mark, if this is a thing. Is it true that if a demon bites you and you live, you get some of its powers? Because that's a thing that's revealed at the end.
I don't know. I've never heard that about demons.
Now, let me ask you this. Is it the same rule applies if it's a demon that's possessed someone else bites you and you get some of the demon's powers? Because she's not a demon. She is
No.
possessed by a demon.
Which is why it's a bit, I don't know. And she doesn't engage in the occult herself either. She's just eating people. You know?
Yeah.
And is that thing about how if you sacrifice a non-virgin when they were meant to be a virgin ever a thing in a cult?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's a
It's
part
not-
of the thing. Yeah. So with... Yeah, if they're not a virgin, this is what happens with the succubus thing. This is what happens. So yeah, that's a part of it. And if it, so
'cause
the
it's
demon
about
gets
the
trapped in there.
innocence. It's about the innocence, and like the demon sort of inhabits like an impure host.
Yeah, exactly. And when they're pure, they consume them fully.
Yeah,
But in a ritual sacrifice?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. At least in some of the media I've seen. But they make a joke because they printed theirs off the internet. And they read like one line, and then they're like, "Is that it?" Yep, that's it.
that's why I find with the fire, I feel like that's them.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm like, is their first attempt at the occult literally just going to be sacrifice? I feel like they've tried things before.
yeah.
They have something.
They mention how hard it is for them.
I think it's interesting in this movie too, the criticism of the pursuit of fame and wealth and the manipulation to do that. Obviously, they play it up first being like, haha, they did it through the use of the means of Satan. But then they show like, not only that, but through the use of the tragedy of the event of the fire. And how everyone believes them because they're celebrities of some
Here's
weight.
why I was so confused by that. The fire would have made more sense if it happened after the sacrifice.
Yeah,
Because
but
then that's what makes them famous.
that's true.
So what effect did the sacrifice have?
Well, it didn't have an effect because it didn't even work the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, they actually failed in their attention.
They actually failed because she's alive. They never find out she's alive.
They say, but like they say when it's like if the sacrifice isn't a virgin, it's still successful, but the demon takes possession of the body.
Yeah, but
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they say that.
yeah, I guess so. But I think for them, they were trying to do it to impress Satan, so he would bless them. I guess maybe it works, but here's the blessed scene with lasagna with teeth, and God, this woman acts this fucking scene out.
I haven't seen this scene.
Oh, this is so great. She gives this holy speech, and she ends it with like, "I have the monopoly on pain," because the emo kids are making it all about them, and they're like crying and being the box like, "He didn't want to go out like this," and she's like, "Yeah, you're right. My son didn't want to be eaten alive. You really knew him, as did I."
I didn't see this scene. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, you could shove it up your asses, kids.
Damn Netflix.
And then, yeah, "I got the monopoly on pain." Such a great line. Put that on my tombstone. and then a Monopoly board on my grave.
Yeah. You play Monopoly on your grave.
Yeah, exactly.
Which piece do you want to be, Ryan?
The dog.
Okay.
Of course.
Well, if you're dead, you can't have a say.
I will, because I'm alive in the afterlife.
All we have to do is not pick the dog.
But yeah, I found it interesting that Low Shoulder, the name of the band, the fictitious band in this, that they really capitalized off this event to the point like when they first come to town, they call it Devil's Lake, and someone's like, "Devil's Skittle," and they're like, "Yeah, it is." And then later on the radio, they're like, "Devil's Lake" again, and like no one corrects them because they're right according to everyone.
Yeah.
They're the heroes.
They're heroes.
It says so on Wikipedia.
Now, did your high school have an occult book section in the library?
Not really.
Mine.
They had like various books that, you know, contain your cult. I love the art here. I actually like the art.
Yeah,
these
there's some
artists.
Giga art there.
Yeah, and there's this one, Wayne Barlow.
Yeah.
That's his, that one.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, he's a great artist. So I'm impressed that they used it. actually.
Yeah. Well, it was in the...
They use real horror artists, yeah.
Well, no. What happened was they went to Kubapedia and they found an occult book section in the library,
Yeah,
and they just happened to find that.
They dug too deep. They opened
It's weird that these artists, these famous artists, they did some illustrations for one book at the library in a school in Kubapedia, Australia. It's really weird. Yeah, it was really awkward, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Did they get any opals?
No, they got nothing. They did it for free.
They got their lives. That's what counts.
Why would they come to Kubapedia?
They didn't come there. They just did it for the Kubapedia, and they sent it off. You know,
What else?
Ridley Scott was like, "Hey, John, no, you're not allowed to leave my set. You have to show me how to make these aliens iconic." That's right.
And then he went, Giga.
Giga. I always thought it was Geiger.
I've heard both. I don't know which one
Let's
it is.
call him Geiger. So, Geiger, does he really like his phallic symbols in his imagery?
Ryan.
Sexy.
Ryan, we have to make it more Diablo Cody. Lesbigator.
That's what I was going to say. I was actually going to say
Lesbigiga.
HIGeiger.org.
Lesbigator.org.
Lesbigator.org. She knows, Diablo Cody knows how to write teens.
So accurate. This is my life.
Life. What did the HR stand for?
Her.
No, human resources. Come on. It's like, what does JK and JK Simmons
Honestly,
stand for?
earlier when you were saying, like, hey, Charles, like, oh, human resources? I'm like, oh, right, he did the art for Alien, yeah.
Okay, here's the sacrifice bit.
Yeah, without using actual guys in the band tried to sacrifice in the woods. Yeah, they didn't know that she wasn't a junior since she wasn't a virgin since junior high.
The results still may be attained.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. It's so sad. Poor Jennifer. I mean, she could have been okay.
But it was her fault. She went with them.
Yeah, but I felt like she was under hypnotism with that.
But how? Because like
Jennifer?
that's my
Because,
question. When does
yeah,
your
She was in shock from the fire.
No, but she was like that before the fire started.
Yeah.
She was mesmerized by them on
That's my-
stage,
that's
so
my
she had to be
question.
dragged out by Amanda Seyfried's character. So I felt like she was under the singer's hypnotism.
Exactly. That's my question. When did the occult start? I feel like they've already been doing this sort of thing.
Do they have powers, this band, or not?
They have Satan. I don't think they have powers, though.
Why not? Why no
Well,
powers?
Why don't we see them use powers, then?
Because we don't see them in the movie.
Yeah.
Except when they die.
Yeah, except for when they do the flashback when they first.
Why
woke
wouldn't
up.
they use their powers to make themselves famous if they have this like a manipulation thing, though. That's why they're using Satan.
Because they can only use it on one person?
Well, you're making it up, so...
I'm trying to figure out the logic of the movie and trying to delve into some things that you can find within it.
Maybe they used Satan to mesmerize her.
Yeah, exactly.
With promise of a sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Hey, Sato,
but I felt like to me she was under some kind of trance in that whole sequence to get in the van.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
But maybe she was just dumb.
Maybe.
Sometimes characters can just be dumb, you know. I mean...
Don't know if I believe it.
Yeah, Mark's not dumb.
No.
He's a character,
But
though, so he does believe that.
But I keep
Marky
coming
Balboa
back here
alone.
to die, so...
Marky
maybe I
Balboa.
am.
Marky Mark will be his next one.
What does that have to do with 7?
Because Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, were there not 7 of them in total?
I thought there were like 5.
Are there 5 other ones and Mark's one? So we should have called him Marky Mark. Oh, we've missed out.
You missed your opportunity. The ship has sailed.
But if we throw Will Smith in the mix, then it really works.
Well,
That's a really obscure reference, but we get...
That was the other quiz question.
I know, but they were in the same episode.
Yeah.
So, Scooby-Doo 2. So, the mum gives him pepper spray, which I surprised actually works on Jennifer.
Yeah, it worked really well.
While punching, shooting, and stabbing her, not so much, but pepper spray.
Well, Stab eventually did it. Yeah.
Stab eventually, but you have to do it in a specific location. But yeah, it was an interesting thing. Ladies' pepper spray works on a lady, so there you go.
Wow, gendered pepper spray.
There is though.
I know.
Did you know there's so many things online where they show just like gendered versions of
things that
of
really
products
don't
that
need to be.
don't need it? Like my favorite is like one of my favorites. I can't remember. There's this one that's just like just a normal thing of soap, just like a normal bar of soap. And it's like, there's a blue one, and there's a pink one, and it's like, the girl's one's like, lavender, blah, 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 strawberries, and then the man's one is force! It's like, fuck off. What does that mean?
Yeah, the hygiene's a big one.
Force!
Especially like toothbrushes.
You know, it's a range of rape-themed cosmetics.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jennifer's not looking good, guys.
She's hungry.
She puts makeup all over her lips. That's not going to help your lipstick.
Well, but is lipstick not a type of makeup?
It's a type of lipstick.
I know it's a type of cosmetic, but it does make up some stuff.
So this was a really weird moment in the movie in which one of the emos has a go at the lead emo girl for having abortions.
I don't remember this.
You don't remember the abortions?
No.
Man, your nanny state.
I don't remember this. I remember that bit, yeah.
Amanda Seyfried's dress is fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah.
She looks like... I don't know if you've ever seen these, but have you ever been to, like, a grandparent's house, an old person's house, or maybe an auntie's house, or someone, maybe even your mum, where they have a toilet roll holder thing, and on top of it is, like, it's like a little mannequin or a little doll of a girl wearing an old-fashioned dress that the frills cover the toilet paper.
Right.
That's what she looks like. She looks like a toilet roll, is basically what I'm saying. Her dress makes her look like a toilet roll. It's so weird. Like the torso.
You
It's
hear
just
that, Amanda
so...
Seyfried?
I think she knows, because then they make a joke later when the boyfriend, spoiler alert, is dying, and he's like, "You look beautiful in that dress," and she's like, "You must be delirious." Because it's an absurd looking dress. J.K. Simmons knocking it out of the park with his speech at the spring dance. Just what a hero.
Like a scarf.
His scarf. Yeah.
It doesn't fit at all.
But it does. It's a little scarf, Mark.
But it's not even matching his outfit.
But it's not supposed to. It's just supposed to keep his neck warm.
But what's he going to do with it when
Put
he gets to dance?
Put it in coat check.
Strangle me.
What?
My school never had that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
but you didn't go to an American school in which they also have security
I thought this
guards
was
that
Cuba
pull a
Petey.
gun at you if you're at a school fair.
Ryan, that's not getting released for another few weeks.
I know. Future spoiler there, I guess.
Look forward to this month's Mystery Box episode, everyone.
Where-
Coming out like 3 weeks after this episode.
But it's foreshadowing. You're gonna really linger on that. She's got a scarf. What, are you gonna have a go at her? And hers is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But you didn't have a go at her because she's a girl. Sexist, Mark.
It's because she just appeared on screen.
Sexist, Mark.
She's a succubus, so scary.
She suck you, boss. I did it.
Yeah.
I've been waiting all episode to do it.
I mean, to
and
be
I've
fair-
been like waiting hard.
I
I did the the just visiting bit, and I thought that was pretty good. And I was like,
good.
when am I gonna get the suck you, boss?
Was that a thing, just visiting?
No, I said earlier I made the comment of just visiting, and then we all laughed. I was like, that was the first episode we did with Mark. I'm just really good at slinging it, throwing in these terms in new and interesting ways.
Remember when I used to be adamant about the fact that we'd only done J films with names at the beginning, and then just visiting exists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, actually.
That was when we were doing John Tucker Must Die, Johnny English, Johnny
Right.
English.
Oh, yeah, we had so many.
Yeah, and then this one's Jennifer, but it's not a John name.
Jonathan's body.
John. The gender swap version. The Rule 63 version of this film.
Yeah, it is called John Must Die. It's the exact same.
John Tucker Must Die.
John Tucker's body.
John dies at the end.
So, we're nearing the climax of the movie. Now, what did you feel about the character of Chip, and what did you feel about his demise in the movie?
I was sad. He's like innocent. He never did anything wrong, to be honest.
He was always a very nice guy. He was
Yeah,
always...
but that's the thing I find. Like all the victims are just like the nice people.
Yeah.
It's like no one who's deserved it. Like not the Asian girl who's like just being a bitch.
Not
for
the
no
band.
reason. Yeah.
By Jennifer.
The band do get killed, but not by Jennifer, yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. But yeah, like, no one deserving dies.
Oh no, this is the band here.
Yeah, they come to school and then she's angry, and then she's so angry that she can sense Jennifer doing shit.
Yeah, but yeah. So because I wanted watching this the first time, like, how does she know where to find her? But yeah, like the blood sense really explains that.
And they're on the news all the time, and they're touring.
No, I mean like when Needy, like when she leaves and she finds where Jennifer is murdering Chip.
Yeah, she can sense it. She finds the corsage that costs $12.
Yeah, I know,
And
right?
then she hears the screaming, so yeah.
That was a lot 10 years
But what
ago.
about you, Bartek? What did you think about...
Well, Mark didn't answer the first part of the question.
oh,
What do you think about the guy in general?
Oh, he said he liked him. He said he felt he was innocent.
Well, wasn't that about his death?
No, I think you just talk about the character in general.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'm wrong. Fight me.
Okay, toilet roll boy. So Bartek,
I'm not wearing a dress.
No, you just look like a toilet roll in general. So Bartek, what about you? What did you feel about the character of Chip and his eventual demise?
Well, much like how Diablo Cody was saying in that trivia thing that we read, that she didn't want to do something too typical, I like that with the characters in this film, a lot of them were so likable. They weren't like, jerk high schoolers who are going through puberty and fight each other and all that. And with Chip, the boyfriend character, he was very nice, very sensitive. He was always thinking about what was best for his girlfriend. Yeah, he was just always really good, and I thought that it was refreshing to see someone with some sense. Like, even in the scene where we saw it just a few minutes ago, where they weren't breaking up, but they were telling each other, you don't go to the dance and stuff like that. When she was explaining, everything, and she was sounding crazy as a rational person would interpret it.
I don't remember this scene.
This is the Kiki scene. Come on.
I didn't see this.
Well, you watched the Australian
You
cut,
watched
buddy.
the nanny state cut.
But then I had the sex scene, so
Why is this cut? This is important. It shows you
don't
that
know.
she tried. Look,
because
see?
I was so confused. Why did she run straight into the forest looking for him? Like, and I'm like, why did she go to his house?
We're sorry. It does explain it in our cut.
That's so weird.
So Bartek, you were saying?
In that scene where they were sort of breaking up, and she was explaining, what happened with Jennifer, and you would naturally have a character just be like, you're crazy, or something like that. You could see in his expression, all right, something's going on here. Maybe you should see someone for help. Like, he was always thinking about her.
It was so refreshing, because in a movie like this, with a character like him, you could have that moment where he thinks you're crazy and whatever, but when she's like, we're gonna break up, and he could be like a jerkwad about it, be like, oh, well, that's not fair. But no, he was really supportive. He was kind about it. He makes the wrong choice by still going to the dance, but like you understand why, and they both agree that they're gonna go to the dance, but they don't go together, which is weird. But like, you do understand his whole situation. He's a nice guy. He knows Jennifer's a bitch, but he's not willing to try and break up their friendship over the fact that he does not like Jennifer.
Her, yeah.
So, he's not upset when he gets blown off for Jennifer stuff as much as you would think he would be in a movie like this, in which it's like, oh, you always hang out with Jennifer. No, he's just a bit more like, you guys just don't have, he's just very calm and nice.
Yeah, and I think by this point here, he already knows that he'd been tricked, so that there isn't like a redemption conversation that needs to happen between him and Needy.
But they do have one.
They do sort of have one, yeah.
His dying scene.
Yeah.
He's like, I should have listened to you, basically. But I felt sorry for him. I knew he wasn't going to live, but I felt like,
well, the beginning of the film literally says he's not the same as he used to be, so that could mean, he's not living.
Yeah, but that line, it leaves it ambiguous, of course.
Yeah, but he didn't seem to be like emotionally evolving at this point or anything like that. So death was really what seemed
that, or he becomes a succubus,
incubus. But yeah.
Incubus.
We never see what happens to his body.
Well, we know he dies, but don't we?
Do we?
She just.
She's upset because he dies, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe
you killed
she's
my
upset.
boyfriend. We were BFFs. You killed my boyfriend, you bitch.
Or maybe the change that she was alluding to was he just got angry and fed up and just was like, leave me alone, no more.
Or maybe the change she was referring to was he just changed outfits. He really changed since that photo that I have of him.
Yeah.
Like in several outfits over a course of 2 months.
He was never the same again. Always changing into new clothes.
I love that she just pushes her underwater and she's like, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Succubi can't drink water.
No, they don't like it. It's icky, icky, ew.
Yeah,
It's not
demons
human
undead.
enough.
They don't like water.
That's a fact. They don't like water. They don't like water. It's a fact.
Yeah, especially flowing water.
Flowing
That's
water.
why medieval castles have moats to keep the zombies out.
I was very disappointed. I went to the IMDb page and I wanted to look up quotes because I thought it'd be fun to get the monologue from the mum and we could all do a version of the reading.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on there. And then I looked for it and I couldn't find a written copy and I didn't have enough time to just write it up myself.
Really?
But I'm very, very disappointed in the internet for not having enough available copies of the mum's Monopoly speech. It's the best.
Well, it is an unappreciated masterpiece.
They should have played that at the Oscars every year when it's like, and now up for Best Picture. And then they say like, Manchester by the Sea. I have the monopoly on pain. It's just a scene from this.
Or maybe every year when they're talking about like the best things, like you need to have quality like this.
No, for every segment it's, and now
Sound
in memoriam, in memoriam, the people we've lost this year. You think you have it? I have the monopoly on pain. Yeah, and for the sound department, you think that I have the monopoly on pain? And now let's cut away to a gag reel.
A montage.
A montage. No, when they do their sketches at the Oscars, those stupid sketches where it's like, oh, look, it's Billy Crystal in Brokeback Mountain. No, it's just Billy Crystal standing there next to the mum as she gives a speech and he doesn't do anything. He's actually in the background, blurred.
Just looking at her and being like, yeah.
And then when she finishes, he just goes, and then it cuts to him on stage going, and then everyone stands up going, and has that reaction of Meryl Streep pointing and going, yes, yes.
And now, celebrating 20 years of Bruce Cook.
And then there's a picture of Bruce Cook up, but then it shows the monologue from this anyway, because it's the only thing they've got. It's the fucking only thing they've got. This was my favorite line in it, by the way, when she's like, do you have any tampons? And she's like, no. It's like, I thought you'd be packing, and just slowly walks away. I thought the line delivery was great, and just. I don't know. I thought Megan Fox or whatever was really good in this. You seem like you might be plugging. I thought she was really good in this. Like, I think we should talk about her performance in this. I mean, Amanda Seyfried's really good in general. This isn't a standout performance in her catalog necessarily because she's always quality. So
it's no Pan.
It's no Pan. She was in Pan.
Yeah.
What was she in Pan?
I think she was Pan's mum in the flashback.
That's right. I remember her primarily in other things. Red Riding Hood. But Megan Fox, she always has been criticized for terrible acting. She's that model who turned actress. She's in the Transformers movies, and like I said, can anyone be good in those movies under that circumstance? I think she did. From what I've seen,
Mark's in one of them, right?
He's great. I think she did the best she could under the circumstances in those movies, and people have said when she left those movies, there is an absence of her presence, which is quite funny because people shit on her all the time for that.
And she's gone on record saying that she was not a big fan of Michael Bay. Right?
Oh no, she did not like him at all. In this though, I think she did really well. I thought she was really funny. I thought she was a real bitch. She was real charming at points. I think she had great delivery. I don't know.
She did perfectly fine from what I think.
Yeah, she has some great one-liners.
She has so many great one-liners.
Such as this one. I have the monopoly on pain.
It's right up there with this one from Thunderpants. I have the monopoly on pain. Oh, man. It's no Frankie Muniz meatball speech. I have the monopoly on pain. It just keeps getting more and more. What I love about this is Mark is looking off where we're pointing because we're physically pointing. Mark is now just looking over there like there it is.
Well, look at the Schindler's List one we have coming.
And then for the Schindler's List one we have coming up, we point over to it, and then it's just Brothers Don't Surf from Surf Ninjas just to swap it out, just to keep it fresh. And now the Brothers Don't Surf scene from Surf Ninjas. I've got the monopoly on pain, just back to normal. Every now and then you've got to have a glitch in the system.
Yeah. Every
now and then it will be like, and now we go over to that legendary scene in Bride Wars. I've got the monopoly on pain. And now we go over to Casablanca, monopoly on pain. And now we go over to Jennifer's body. And then, oh, me ass from Thunderpants.
Or the Kiki line.
Or the Kiki line from the exact same movie. No, or, I want to narrow your nutsack. That speech.
All the scenes that Mark didn't see.
We do the unmark cut. So, she's now getting ready to kill Jennifer, who's wearing these fucking gross, what are they?
Knee-high socks?
Knee-high socks, but they have no foot part.
Yeah.
So
ankle warmers.
They're calf warmers. That's it.
Cankle warmers.
Cankle warmers.
Now, was there a trivia point saying that this was a reference to Juno? Like, this is a character from Juno?
I have only seen Juno once, and
Same.
Fun fact, I never got to finish the movie because I was at university hanging out with a bunch of people, and this is true. We were watching it, and it got up to a really dramatic point, and then we got a phone call from a friend whose name is Luke, who's been on the podcast many times, being like, "Hey guys, I'm on my way." He was very late. He was like 3 hours late. Yeah. He was like, "I'm on my way, but I don't know how to get there. Can you guys walk out and find me?" And he was literally 2 kilometers away, and we had to walk 2 kilometers to find him because he kept giving us directions on how to find him, but he didn't tell us where he was. So then when we walked all the way back, because it was really late, there was no public transport, no one wanted to watch Juno except for me. And Luke was like, "I haven't seen the beginning, so I don't want to watch it." And I was just like, "I don't know. And I've never watched the end. I have no idea how it resolves, but I'm sure it's all good."
I think the trivia point was saying that the character was mentioned or something.
I think the trivia point is Ryan hasn't seen all of Juno in a long time.
I have, but I barely remember it.
I remember J.K. Simmons.
I remember Michael Cera.
Michael Cera, he's barely in it as well, considering he's on the cover.
Poster and top billing, yeah.
So you're crossed out, Jennifer.
You're X'd out.
You're X'd out, and Jennifer doesn't look happy. I liked this. I thought this was a really fun sequence in which they're hovering and doing the effect. It's like they're not trying to... Think about this. If they did this movie today, this would be a CGI nightmare fest. You know, this would be like Wonder Woman or something, where it's like, you know, at the end of... Crashing through walls, where it's like at the end of Wonder Woman, it's like, the bad guy wasn't actually the god of war. And he's like, maybe there is no actual god of war, because sometimes man can be really shitty towards each other. And Chris Pine gives this great speech, and it's like, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe there is no actual bad guy, and the bad guy is within all of us. And then, hello there, it's me, God of War. I actually exist. And then 20 minutes of CGI bullshit. I thought, like, if they did this movie today, this CD would be them flying in the air, crashing through walls. It would be Man of Steel. It would be like they would be crushing innocents. Yeah. Fire would be spewing out of the cracks in the fucking road, and like, and Jennifer would be like, I'm evil, and it would be like, her head would spin round, and like her hair would be fire and bullshit, and then they would have a stinger at the end. After the credits, I'll have 5 stingers in the credits, and all of them will be the Monopoly speech.
I was going to say that exact thing.
All of them will be the Monopoly speech. But get this. The very last one, it will be the entire Monopoly speech, but when she gets to the Monopoly line, it fades to black. And it says, the Monopoly speech will continue. The Monopoly speech will return in literally every movie ever made.
They should play it at the same time as the nailing nuts to the door scene. I've got the Monopoly nuts on my door.
Like those rich people. Monopoly on pain. They should play it with They should play the Monopoly speech within a T-Pain song, because he's got pain. And she's got the Monopoly on pain, on T-Pain.
Is that a rapper?
Do you think? No, he's a fucking monk. He does spiritual music.
Yeah, you know, the teachings of T-Pain.
Well, you guys know you're a cult.
That's what the T stands for. Teaching pain.
I thought it was the pain. Wait, that's Metal Gear Solid 3. Never mind.
Everything goes back to... No, Metal Gear Solid 3. There you go. It'll be like, and you are now... the Monopoly on Pain speech. Instead of you are now a big boss, it's the whole Monopoly on Pain.
The guy made out of the bees, all he does is say that he has the Monopoly on Pain.
No, but then every game after and before, instead of calling him Big Boss, they call him, and then they recite the entire Monopoly on Pain speech. You know, there's that, you've talked about it before, there's that meme about them coming up with his name, Big Boss. It's the same, but then they have the whole Monopoly on Pain speech written down, and they're like, yeah. Because, Mark, in Metal Gear Solid games, there's a character called Big Boss, and in Metal Gear Solid 3, you find out how he gets his name, Big Boss.
It's a title, yeah.
Because he kills his boss, who's just called Boss, right?
His mentor, whose title is The Boss.
The Boss, and he kills her, and then they name him Big Boss, because he killed Boss.
Right, of course.
And people have joked about that since the game, of like, them standing in a room, coming up with ideas of what to call them. They just have Boss in big letters, and then they're like... and then just write big.
There's a big gag comic that goes through all of Metal Gear Solid 3, and that's like the meme that came from it. That one scene, those 4 panels.
So the movie's ending, but what did you think about this? They show where Devil's Kettle actually leads to, and there's got the balls and the knife, and she finds the knife, but also that at the end of the what you could consider the portal into hell, you find Low Shoulder is the sign.
Yeah.
At the very, did you not notice the Low Shoulder sign?
I read about it in the trivia, but I didn't see it when I was watching.
So she gets picked up here from Lance Henriksen, who's famous actor, obviously most known as Bishop from Aliens. He picks her up, and then they drive away, and they focus on the Low Shoulder traffic sign. And I kind of wonder what that is supposed to represent or mean. For me, I was like, well, the portal, Devil's Kettle, the portal to hell, you could say, it all leads back to Low Shoulder. Hence, she goes on her revenge quest in the credits to Low Shoulder, because at the end of the day, they're the reason everything happened, and they're still unresolved.
Yeah.
There it is, Low Shoulder.
Oh, you're right.
And that's also that's the logo.
Yeah.
So it's like, did they come from this place? All that kind of stuff.
They didn't know, because he was saying at the start, like, I've been to towns like this, and
But then he also says, I'm from a town like this, and they're like, we thought you were from such and such.
Maybe he is
Big
from this
city or
town.
something.
And he was like, you guys, and then you don't know. So it's really
Yeah.
ambiguous on what's the deal. I like how she described the singer as, he's so evil, he reminded me of a skinny, twisted tree. And I look at him and I'm like, yeah, perfect description of him. Skinny, twisted tree. So the movie has ended, but the credits show us what happens to the band, who, by the way, they're a real band.
Yeah, they're not cold low shoulder.
Except for the singer, who's an actor, who is a musician sometimes. And when I looked up his trivia, you'll love this, I looked up the actor who played him, his trivia. I'm forgetting the actor's
Is it like
name.
Robert something?
No, Adam Brody. Adam Brody's trivia is the greatest thing ever, because in just one of the 15 million pieces of trivia, there's so much trivia about him, but one of them in the middle, in that font, just is, owns a horse. And it just cracks me up. Like one of them's like, he was in this movie and worked with this person, and then owns a horse. It just seems so simplistic.
He's on par with my little sister.
Exactly. So the movie has ended. She's killed the band. We see this in crime scene photos, which I thought was neat and imaginative.
Yeah.
I felt, even though you shouldn't, I do feel sorry for the bassist guy who didn't want to be a part of the occult, but then he did do it. So
Yeah.
fuck him, basically. Is Johnny Simmons J.K. Simmons? Oh wait, no, different guy. No, Johnny Simmons is Evan Almighty's son. So the film has unfortunately ended, but the end is not for us, because we still have our reviews, rating, and comments from the internet.
Yeah.
So I will go first. I loved this movie. I thought it was refreshing. I thought it was a surprise. For Spooky Month, this was a real romp, because last episode we did Vampire's Kiss, which was way more of a psychological movie that didn't actually deal with the supernatural. Or it could have, but, it's one of those could have, couldn't have, blah, blah, blah. This was way more black and white. It is supernatural. It is this. You could do readings in which you go, well, this is all told from a perspective of a woman who's in a mental asylum, so maybe it is all nonsense and crazy, but I don't think so. I think it's it's one that you to take it at face value of the narrator. I enjoyed this. I thought it was a real pleasure. It was different to my expectations. It also broke my expectations of Megan Fox's acting ability, because she's been slammed. It's kind of what she's known for. She's that terrible actress. She's that sexy lady who's a terrible actress. But in this, I thought she was really, really good. I kind of want to see her in more movies. I'm not sure what other stuff she has been in, but I'm going to check it out. If I have to give this a rating, it's really hard, There's a lot of things to process here, Should I give it a rating that kind of involves the paranormal? Should I give it a rating that should kind of reference the spooky month aesthetic? But I think my rating is the entire Monopoly speech out of the entire Monopoly on Pain speech.
Wait, but the thing that you just pointed out was the scene from Kangaroo Jack.
Oh, you mean I own the entire Monopoly on Pain? Yeah. Bartek, I want to hear from you.
I also love this movie. I also have only really seen the Megan Fox, the M. Fox films that feature her in not so stellar acting. Even, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was made after this. So I definitely did have that idea that she's only really cast in bad things, or maybe it is her that's doing all of it. Even though, like you pointed out, a lot of it seems to at least have Michael Bay as producer or director somewhere in the picture.
Who would have guessed? Michael Bay, not a tentpole for quality?
What do you mean?
What?
He's great.
Oh yeah, you're
Best
right.
director
Pain
of
and
the-
Gain. We're gonna do that one day. So we should give him a
Yeah,
break.
you'll be eating your words. I think this film really shows us that you can take anyone of any acting ability, and if you have someone on your project who knows how to use them, like in this case maybe Diablo Cody, you can get something great out of them, show their real potential.
Exactly.
We all have potential to be great actors. We just need the people who can draw it out of us.
Exactly.
But even beyond just simply talking about her, this film's fantastic. It deals with dark themes, which, coming off of the fact that we just did Vampire's Kiss, I think you and I, Ryan, were at least a little bit on edge thinking about, like, oh, what's real, what isn't real, or theories and stuff like that. To the point that when I was actually watching the movie myself and, I was told that Megan Fox was meant to be sacrificed by these band members, I was almost, like, questioning it, like, oh, is this a lie? Is this a lie? But then as the film went on, it wasn't really questioning that. It accepted it, and in the end...
Mark's pointing at the screen angrily.
The song, Ryan Levine.
Ryan Levine.
Yeah,
He's the actual... We'll get into Ryan Levine, but go on. Continue.
I was questioning, like, oh, is this explanation of how she got these powers real? But then the film wasn't really questioning it. You were just meant to take it at face value. So I think, certainly not as extreme as what I'm describing, but people could come in with their misconceptions to interpret the film in ways that it wasn't meant to be interpreted, or things that weren't meant to be taken out of it. You watch the film and Megan Fox is in it, you're expecting, a bad performance, but you don't get one.
Or sexualization.
Yeah, there are definitely characters in the film who are sexually attracted to her, but really most of her stuff is emotional manipulation or just appeal.
Exactly.
Like, even with the band, she was, buying them a drink, just being nice to them. She wasn't, trying to show off her tits. In fact, the closest thing we get is Amanda Seyfried downplaying her attractiveness.
Yeah.
Which we didn't really talk about much, but yeah. I think that this is a great film, and great people, and even not so great people, can learn from it. Even Roger Ebert liked this film.
Yeah, Roger.
That says something.
Exactly.
I give this film a nice big H.R. Lesbigager.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned Ryan Levine. I guess you're a big fan. Ryan Levine is the lead singer of the actual band that lives in the real world.
Yeah.
And he wrote a lot of the songs that we hear in this, and he's the husband, or was, of Avril Lavigne?
Yeah, that's like assumes.
Something
like that.
Yeah, so cool. Fun fact. So let's hear from you, Mark.
Yeah, well...
Marky Balboa.
Marky Balboa?
Thank you.
So I gotta say, right, I barely called him Pentamark when he was that.
Yeah,
well, it's okay, Marky Balboa. Continue on, son.
Thank you. Yeah, so like you guys said, the acting is surprisingly good. And I think like the effects, the visuals, it's all sort of like really like high quality.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sort of let down by like, I don't know, like some of the pacing, some of like the symbolism, I guess. It's like, I think it would have been cool if they'd done sort of a more consistent like thread of like their friendship and their connection, and but that's like a bit of lost potential, but like in the grand scheme of the movie, it's not a big deal really. Like there's a lot there, a lot to work with, and I think it's fine to sort of have that reading, like maybe it's not actually happening, she's just like this jealous friend who's sort of losing it and is like sort of taking revenge on like acting out and all this, which is I think I like to think about it that way, especially having watched Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, you watched it with me when
right.
Yeah,
I mentioned that in the episode. Mark was there, and he didn't understand that some scenes weren't real, and I was like, "No, Mark, this is fake."
Yeah, so now you've got me in that mindset. I'm like, is anything real?
Exactly. It's called Inception.
Is October going to be the month of Is This Real?
Oh man, I can't wait to do other movies that I know are going to be like that. Boy. So, do you have a rating for us, young man?
I have the monopoly on pain.
That's the only rating one can give. Bartek, I'm sure the monopoly on pain is very clear and evident in the internet.
Yes.
Did they have lots of things to say that were positive?
About this film, yes. When you said the internet, there's a lot of things on the internet that are...
No, there's only the monopoly on pain.
Oh, okay.
That's only what the internet's based on.
The internet is pain.
It's not just the Academy, it's not just movies, it's everything. I have the monopoly on pain, baby.
Alright, so the first comment, and also the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh one is basically just talking about the monopoly on pain.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you.
So
what about your IMDb review?
Also monopoly on pain, so I'll tell you what...
Out of?
Monopoly on pain.
Okay, great.
So, I'll tell you what I did. I made up some stuff to replace all those with, just so that we have some variety.
Okay, I'm ready to hear it.
Yep. The first YouTube...
3, 2, 1.
Yep, the first YouTube comment that I made up is... This movie made me that I want to date with Megan Fox.
You know, it's really weird. I was expecting you to say about the Monopoly on Pain. I was waiting to be sucked in again.
No.
Okay, go on, son.
The next comment is, I love the way she kills boys. I wish I demon too, so I could that once in a while.
Yeah, you do.
And there's a response to this one.
Monopoly on Pain.
That's probably why you're still single and nobody likes you. And by the way, this user who made this response, his username is Johnny Savage.
He was.
Yeah, he was very savage.
He was very Johnny.
Yeah.
Just Johnny? That's a Johnny mnemonic reference there for you.
Yep. But no, he was Johnny Savage.
Just Johnny, yeah.
Yeah. The next comment is, this movie is great, y'all are just straight.
Yeah.
Not lesbian gays like the rest of us.
No, not like the rest of us, buddy.
Jennifer's Body is a great movie, and I'm tired of the disrespect.
I am too.
I am too.
You know what's really sad? My brain got used to you saying, like, Megan in these comments, and I'm like, that's not her name. Her name's not Jennifer. But then you said Body. I'm like, that is her name in the movie.
Right.
I'm so used to them talking about the actress. He had them actually talk about the character / movie. It was just so foreign to me in that moment. I was like, what?
This next one has actress. If it's Megan Fox, she can eat me without any resistance, BTW, hee hee.
Okay.
I've got 3 more comments left.
Okay, buddy, hit us. Hit us in the loincloth.
Lol, how do you watch the full movie? Shit, I'm new at this.
Well, dude, you press play. And
Well,
then
this is the
you
trailer on
sit-
YouTube.
Oh, fuck. Well, dude, here's how it works. There's a monopoly on pain. And I own it. I got it all. I have it. It's mine.
That explains everything.
There you go.
The next comment is, this movie was horrible. They only focused on the characters, not the storyline. Stupid spam comments saying it's good. And then they do like an emoticon of like an face.
That's a good face you did.
And the last comment is actually the first sentence of Roger Ebert's review. Just for a little bit of variety.
Hello, I've got the monopoly on pain.
I've got them all in hand.
See,
And
I
also-
wish if I had the monopoly on pain speech, you could have read it as Roger Ebert and Orson Welles.
Right.
I wish I wrote a monologue as good as that.
So the first sentence of his review, and maybe this explains his, rating, I don't know.
Megan Fox gave me some homemade cookies, and I really like the movie now. That would make so much sense.
Just what we were waiting for. Twilight for boys, with Megan Fox in the Robert Pattinson role, except that I recall Pattinson was shirtless.
Is it though?
What a bitter comment. But I recall you. Oh, Roger, you little pervert.
Is it though?
No.
Like, who is the target audience for this? Because I don't like. It doesn't have that like the male gaze that you'd expect.
No.
Like for Michael Bay or whatever.
It wants to.
It doesn't.
It doesn't
Yeah,
though.
no.
It doesn't try.
So, is that all you've got for us? Or you got
I've got an IMDb review.
As do I.
It's almost like I found both.
Yes, and then gave me one with no context, and then I was like, do you want me to read this? And you're like, I wasn't thinking of it, but then I was like, I think I do want to, and you're like, go on.
Who goes first?
Who's on second?
Mine's shorter, so...
Yep, go on, Bartek.
Sure. This review is titled, God Saves Megan Fox, ... and try to save your money.
Oh, God.
It is from the 19th of May 2010, and it is a 1 out of 10 review. All over the world is talking about Megan Fox.
Yep.
And this movie is another Hollywood product to profit that. The movie sucks. Bad jokes, unscary moments, no enough blood, bad performances, a comedy of horror that made me cry and suffer, horrible soundtrack,
How dare you?
even the band's name that appears in scene stinks. Low shoulder? I think I'm going crazy. Like Linda Perry used to say, what's going on? Amanda.
Oh my god.
You know, that one quote that's
one
never used.
The one she's
by-
known for,
No,
obviously.
Not only that, not only did she use it a lot, is that one quote that you can only pair up with her and no one else or no other context.
I've seen
that phrase is only used when you think of Linda Perry. You don't just say it.
I've seen a Bollywood film that's been filmed in Melbourne and set in Melbourne that has a song called "What's Going On" in it.
So they heard about Linda Perry, right?
About Linda Perry.
Well, but no, when you just said it, then just like, what's going on? In parentheses, in that Linda Perry, just it's all there for us. Come on.
It's called Salam Namaste.
No, it's called Linda Perry. Come on.
Amanda Seyfried is pretty, but Fox is prettier. If Mr. Diablo is a screenplay writer, I am Terminator.
I am Terminator.
Even my 9-year-old daughter write better that piece of junk. But the producers make a lot of money using that goddess called Megan Fox. Even when in the movie she look sexy. OMG. To put end to my review, I like to say thanks to God that sent us an angel like Megan. Avoid this movie. Rated R for Rusted.
Okay, I've got a review here called Mystery Can Question Mystery without having to worry about the existence of mystery. 9 out of 10. Hold on.
Wait, that was the full title. That was just title.
When I read this review, I read it to myself in like a voice, but I got tired.
So I believe that this is a 9 out of 10 from 2017, and I believe this is written by Mark. And we'll find out why very soon.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna laugh first.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called Mystery Can Question Mystery without having to worry about the existence of mystery.
And I didn't want to read this, but Ryan will.
It's so hard. The right. Oh, fuck. It's already hard already. Because there's so many commas in this.
Yeah, I know.
The right to be an opposite to logic is the lack of right to be logical. Fuck me. The lack of right is the gain of no right. The gain of no right is the gain of force. The gain of force is the gain of oppression. The gain of oppression is the gain of violence. The gain of violence is the value of violence. Logic is authority. Authority is dominance. Dominance is oppression. The value of violence is violence. The value of violence is the non-value of peace. Peace is non-value. The non-value of non-value is the value of value. Violence is the value of value. The value of value is the focus of focus. The focus of focus is the purity of focus. I'm not even halfway there.
Yeah, I know.
The purity of focus is the impurity of no focus. No focus is non-attention. Impurity is corruption. Violence is the corruption of non-attention. No attention is no observer. Violence is the corruption of no observer. Non-violence is the purity of observation. Purity is the purity of observation. Observation is inequality. Purity is the purity of inequality. Purity is the purity of impurity. Goodness is good violence. Good violence is impossible.
Ryan, can I stop you right there? Did you read the warning spoilers at the beginning?
Oh yeah, warning spoilers.
Oh, damn, we should have told them.
Goodness is good violence. Good violence is impossible. Goodness is impossible. Goodness is reality. Reality is impossible. Impossibility is possibility. Possibility is isn't impossibility. Impossibility is possibility. Possibility is possibility. Change is possible. Sameness is possible. Difference doesn't exist, but the absence of difference has the ability to be a mystery. Mystery has the ability to question itself while denying any possibility of not being real. The 2009 film, Jennifer's Body, is about the concept of mystery having the right to question its identity without having the fear of its own survival.
Well, I'm glad the review came back to mystery in the end.
I'm glad it came back to a review.
See, I was reading that whole thing. I'm like, there has to be like a punchline at the end, right?
No, the punchline is lack of. So thank you, Mark, for writing that review.
Lack of punchline is a punchline.
When you said that to me, I'm like, this sounds like Mark. Mark would have written this in some kind of like journal and then like put tea stains on that journal to make it look like it's really old and burnt some of the corners and then left it behind just to freak people out.
Yeah, some of the words like
a
cutouts
railing
from magazines.
Cutouts from magazines. Some of it's written in like like mud on the page. Some of that.
Is it, Mark?
So thank you for listening as always, you kind, wonderful people. We are on many platforms now. We're on the Spotify, Mark.
Yes.
We're on the Google Play. Did you know that?
No, I
Did you know
not.
we're
Tell
on
me
the
more, please.
We're on the iTunes.
How can I give you money?
Well, we don't want your money. You could give us a review on iTunes or any podcasting platform that allows a review and a rating, because that kind of helps us out. We have an email, spitandpolished at gmail.com, in case you want to email us your review that you just wrote. .org. Move over. Monologue from Monopoly of Pain. So, you guys, as always, have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. Mark, you have actually lived?
I survived this episode.
But there was still a twist with this.
There was a twist.
I am
it's
worried.
like it's all like G-Force again.
Are they going to let me leave? I don't know.
Well,
Someone
you better
please help
find
me.
out in 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, you'll live. It's alright. I can't come up with another name for you this episode.
So, right. I could have come up with 7 of Mark. So
That is a good one.
That's a good
That
one.
is a good
That's
one.
a good one. And then when he becomes 9, I could call him. I could call you Mark of 9. So then it all works. So you guys, as always, fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. Till next time, remember to be kind to each other.
Yeah.
And eat, boys.